All right. Heck is that. All right. So here's this thing. We're going to be having a bit of a conversation today. Bit of a conversation, and it really comes about the affordable birth rates, right? The question is is that is being able to afford children becoming a pipe dream of the everyday individual? We're going to talk about that and a little bit more here, of course, on the episode of Opinionated. So I guess there's nothing else better to do but to get into it. Wait there. Oh damn it! Thank you for letting me know that it was the one thing I forgot to do right out the bat. Thank you for letting me know, Glenn. Okay, so first of all, hello everybody. Welcome to Opinionated. Welcome. I am your host, Resla. My phone is going crazy, and I don't know why. phone's absolutely going crazy. Stop that right now. And all right. So let me just try to start over again. Have you ever stopped to wonder about basically kids and why are kids being basically looked at as a luxury today? Uh, when did basically the natural thing that we should be looking at kids for, the most fundamental thing about kids is, of course, life itself. But of course, when did they become such a massive gamble? When did that happen? When did that start becoming a thing? I swear, the moment I start alive is the moment they want to bother me. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it wasn't even that important. I swear. Ugh, can't stand people. Anyway, um, make sure my camera's actually right. Anyway, financial gambling. This is what I think I'm saying. Yeah, when did kids become basically a financial gambling? Because I think that's exactly how a lot of people look at it today. People aren't just having kids anymore. They're not just. In fact, what they're doing is they're running the numbers. They're running the numbers. They're weighing the risk, and they're asking themselves, can they even afford to bring another human being into this world? And don't get me wrong, I get it. I get it. Kids are expensive. No one. I don't think anyone's going to be really debating that these days. But when I think about it, here's the way I look at it. Have kids always come to a point of being so expensive where we have to basically compare them and the idea of child raising the same way how we would consider the planning for buying a house? And this is what I was just thinking about a moment ago. Our grandparents didn't have to deal with these kind of debates. They had kids first. They figured out all the damn details later. No one was sitting around sipping on oat milk lattes, having deep conversations about whether a middle class income could sustain a child in this economy that we have right now. But they made it work regardless. But today, it's a different story. It's just not the same. People are straight up deciding not to have kids because, quite frankly, they can't justify the price tag for a kid. They cannot do it. And that raises a whole lot of questions, if you ask me. What happens when the only people who can afford to have kids are the wealthy? What happens then? What happens when the middle class and the working class start opting out? Because we're already starting to see it in our society today. Are we just going to sit here and accept that? In the future, only the financially privileged are going to be the only ones who get to pass on their bloodlines. And it's a lot to unpack. So I think we should get a little bit into it. But before I do, I want to, of course, thank everybody who's in the building as I kind of glance off once in a while to make sure I take a look at the chat. Thanks for letting me know that there was no sound gland. I've been fighting with my sound system. Then I just got it up half an hour before the stream, started testing some things out. The one button I forgot to hit, the one button I forgot to hit was the microphone. So thanks for letting me know that. Brick is in the building. Thanks for letting me, it's coming in, Brick. The Steel Man is in the building. Okay, all right. Chuck, Tennessee is in the building. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I know. Early start out. Moment I'm back. We already got to deal with the technical difficulties. Rude Mud Crab is in here. Appreciate you. Appreciate Lawrence, because Lawrence is up in here. CJ is in the building. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. And you said and team up and then tell people to tell the kids they can't afford. A lot of people are saying that they can't afford kids. GS is in the building, say here to support. I appreciate you for the support. And of course, anyone who gets in the building, do yourself a favor and do the chat a favor as well. Let yourselves be known, get acclimated in the community, say hello, get your little highs in, start having a little bit of a talk with everybody else as we get into it. So I think the first segment I'm going to go into is the cost, the real cost of parenthood, because it really is that expensive. And to be honest with you, the charges, the standards for charges are really all over the place. Because if we're going to be having a conversation, we need to actually be breaking it down exactly what the cost is for raising a kid today. Now, according to the studies I started going through, according to the studies, raising a child today in America, let me put it that much, from 0 to 18 costs you around just over $300,000. It's actually just over $310,000. That's Let's think about it. If it's just over $310,000, we're talking about 17 grand a year for a person. And that just justifies like basic food, that just basic shelter, clothing, healthcare, education. That doesn't factor the other things, people. That doesn't factor college. That doesn't factor in extracurricular activities. That doesn't factor in the possibilities that your kid doesn't come down with a medical condition. We don't think about that. We don't think about the doctor checkups. There's a lot that's going to have to go into it. Now, let's compare that to just a few decades ago. And adjusting for inflation, raising a child, say in the 1980s, hi, I'm an 80s baby, but bringing the kids up in 1980s cost about half of what it does now. Half, folks. Half of what it used to cost now. But here's where things also get very interesting. Back then, most families were able to actually survive off of one income. Today, even with two people, two working adults, two working parents, a lot of families are caught within the struggle. So, what changed? Well, a few things did. First of all, let's talk about the biggest thing that's crippling us here in the States. First thing is that the housing cost. A 3-bedroom home that used to be within the reach of an average middle class family, now that same home costs 50% more than it did 2 decades ago. And if you're renting, good luck. Good luck. I'm a renter. I know I'm at a disadvantage. Prices have always been skyrocketing and they only continue to do so while wages have barely moved forward. Then there's the whole childcare. Back in the day, kids either stayed at home with parents or they got dropped off at a neighbor's. Now the average cost for a full-time daycare in the US is somewhere between 9K to 15K per year. That's a second mortgage, folks. That is a second mortgage just for someone to quote watch your kid while you go off to work. And let's just keep it a buck. A lot of people don't even make that much a year to be able to cover the cost of a child. And let's not forget healthcare, folks. I mentioned childcare, but we got to mention healthcare. A simple hospital bill. You know, let's not even go with the hospital bill. A simple birth being done within a hospital, especially here in the US, can range you somewhere to 10 grand plus. Just to be able to shoot that motherfucker out the birth canal is 10 G's plus. And that's 10 G's plus without complications. They charge you extra for complications. So let's just tack on an extra 5 grand. So let's just say 15 grand if you got complications. Even with insurance, you're looking at a substantial copay. You're looking at substantial deductibles. And let's not even talk about the surplus bills. It's going to be nasty. Then you got the outgoing, or rather the outgoing and the ongoing doctor visits, prescriptions, dental work. Oh, dental work. To get these straight, oh my goodness. And everything else that comes with just the idea of having to raise a tiny human. So, yeah, when people say kids are expensive, they're not making that shit up. They absolutely are not. But here's where I want to pause and ask, are we dealing with the actual cost of raising kids, or are we just, or have we just changed what we expect parenting and parenthood to be? Because the way that I see it now, part of the problem is it is not just about money. It's not. I think part of the problem is the expectations of what it means to be a quote good parent today. I think that is part of the crush that we really need to look at. This idea of perfect parenting in that kind of trap. I think for some reason we have overcomplicated raising children. And I wonder what some of you guys' thoughts when it comes to that. He said, then you should have told you. Then you should have told me a long time ago. Okay, okay. Don't think it's the case. Okay. Come to the rapping. Okay, all right. So long as you say currently the poorest and the curse are breeding the middle class. Sure, sure, but here's the thing about genetics as well. This is why I love about the whole fact of people who are rich and they try to do this whole genetic breeding and like you can't say that two smart people can bring forth a smart kid. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Two geniuses can bring forth a dumb baby, and two idiots can bring forth a savant. That's just the randomness of genetics. Clue, what's going on, man? What's going on? Said children were originally and they should still be looked at that way. They should still look at. I mean, not for nothing. Even when we took it past the farm, children were looked at as an asset just to be the future workers, the future factory workers, the future potential stock of the political system. Now they're not even looked at that way. Who thinks about raising their kids so that they can become the next political figures in the world? They don't. They leave it to the people who have money. They leave it to the people who are business, who are law. They leave it to people who want to become career politicians. Let's be honest. Most people figure out they want to be career politicians either because they are raised in families of politicians or raised in someone who has that kind of means, or they figure it out when they're in secondary education. That's just what it is. Chuck, you say that kids aren't that hard to raise. So you say it's getting them going. It's the hard part. You say that. I don't think a lot of people can sit there and turn around and say that they have over 300 grand to be willy nilly putting through. Cause that keep in mind that's just to maintain. That is not to raise, folks. Not raise, to maintain. Maintaining someone, just keeping them alive, keeping them keeping them within the standards so that they don't come through on your house and tell you that you're an unfit parent and take the kid from you. That is over $300,000, folks. 300K. Just for you to be able to put a kid on this earth and to say that you did your job and making sure that they stayed alive from the womb to 18, they can tell you to go fuck yourself. Cost you over 300K, ladies and gentlemen. Is it? I don't know how. Oh shit. I don't know why it did. Oh, thanks for letting me know. I don't know why that was expired. Hmm. Oh, well, that doesn't help me if I type on the wrong keyboard too. Give me Thanks for letting me know, Josh. This is what happened. You do it all yourself. Thank you, Joshua Jones. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, what was I just saying? I want you to picture basically. Before get into that, because I got something in my mind already. What are you guys saying here in the chat? Uh, necessity is the mother of all inventions. Yep, absolutely remains to be the same way. What's the especially consumerism, the shrink back into multi-generational homes become even a lot of those homes are being taken over. In fact, most people are looking to just try to take down homes on land to build their own, n- not understanding just how sturdy those places actually are. Or rather, there are so many homes and so many towns that are long been abandoned, by the way, but houses that are still standing that just need really a good touch up. Well, most people don't even want to move those areas, so people are not struggling enough yet to warrant it. You don't think so? I think people are definitely struggling enough. I just don't think that a lot of communities themselves are willing to band together to make something happen because, quite frankly, in the age that we still live in, and not even the age, the era that we still live in, everybody doesn't work on a communal aspect. People don't work as a community, minus migrants, because they still have that mentality, by the way. But Americans don't have that community mindset to really go forth like our ancestors did, to go forth to an area and then build up and make a community there. That's not the way that they move these days. They want to build communities in places that already exist. They want to stay there. They want to stay there and they want to just build up. And let's be honest, the younger youth, the younger people don't want to do that now, which is why a lot of youthful people leave early in their years to go to the cities to cut their teeth. And then when they're older, then they want to move over to the more simpler life. So that's what I tend to see. See any of you want to buy and ask, wow, no, no, no. Didn't you hear, Josh? Indians are in season now. We don't want Asians. We don't want Oriental babies now. No, no, unless you can prove he's gonna be an engineer. Unless you prove he's gonna be an engineer, and I don't mean working at Radio Shack because Radio Shack is gone. Uh, unless you can prove he can be an engineer, we not looking for that anymore. We not. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. But this is not about liking them. This is about being able to pay to maintain them. Because quite frankly, here's the thing about having kids. No one said you had to like them. They said you had to be responsible for them. That's simply what it is. And the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, they don't really belong to you because the government comes in at some point and just want to be stupid, and your kids, if your kids want to act stupid with these damn laws, they can turn against you as well. Shit. Mm, I think there was a time where they were easy to raise. I don't think now because, quite frankly, people have put in kids' minds that they can do things that was unheard of before, and then on top of that, government officials are holding people accountable for it. Unheard of. This is the only time that I can think of where government has stepped forward to say that your kids don't belong to you. Crazy, but that's exactly what's taking place. Government has come to a point in its time to say that your kids don't belong to you, and not only said that your kids don't belong to you, but has let your kids know to their face. You know, you ain't got to listen to your mom and your dad, right? You know, you're your own individual, right? Think about how early it is, right? How early it is now to have kids young, barely double digits, but can be able to call 911 and turn around and say, I know my rights. That was never a thing for us coming up. That is strictly a new generational thing. That is not us millennials. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. Government being so nosy that they pop up in your house to ask, how are you taking care of your kids because your kids started missing out on a few days of school. These are new things. Unless you actually prove. I mean, there's been parents who had to prove, like in court, had to prove in court that they had their kids being homeschooled. because they took their kids out of actual public school. And that public school felt like the child was being neglected and therefore called child protective services. Crazy. Crazy, but these are things that have happened. Pressure to be good parents is pressure to be good parents is a good thing. Hmm. I'm thinking about different type of parents, but everyone should have the chance to be a parent. Do I think that everyone should be to have the chance to be a parent? I think every child deserves to have a parent. I don't think that everyone who has kids is going to be a good parent or should be parents. Plain and simple. I don't think everybody who just because you can get pregnant doesn't mean that you should be able to have a kid. Because I've seen too many neglectful, negligent people in my life. I'm not even gonna lie. People that we just knew that they were not the people. I think after a while, when you have too many abolishments of kids, you, you forfeit that right. So that's another thing that's on my mind. Um, and the idea of aptitude being something that's important. The truth of the matter is that most children, the majority, and when I say the majority, I'm not going to talk about that 51%. I'm going to say high 80s. The majority of children are oops babies. So the idea of having aptitude, most people don't have it. Most people have to develop it. Most kids are by mistake, and most parents have to figure it out. They're not walking in with the aspect of planning to have a child. That's not what I see out in this world. It's not. Most people are figuring it out as they go along. Not that I have a problem with that because that's a lot of the world and that's become the norm. But I think that a lot of people never really had the intention of saying, "Do you want a kid? Yes, I want a kid. Oh, okay, cool. How much does the kids cost these days? Let's go look it up. This is how much kids cost. Well, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna set this money aside, and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna set this money aside, and we're gonna put this in their trust or their college fund or whatever." I remember when they were kids, a guy, I remember a time when a husband found out his wife is pregnant, you know what he did? Damn, I gotta start setting up a college fund. And damn for sure, before the kid had even came out the womb, the man was already putting money towards a college fund. You can't possibly get that now. It's almost impossible to get that now. I agree. People have been having kids for the wrong reason. And people just having kids simply for the fact they just said, because I can. That's been guy or gal. Because I simply can. Sir, look where you're living at. All your kid can do to learn is farm. Unless you're sending your kid to the States, all your kid's gonna do is learn to farm. Unless you're gonna ship yourself to the freaking Buddhist mountains or out to freaking the most localist, largest city. What else they gonna do? So one in the home. Oh, okay, all right. I guess I can go with that. And yet, and still, you gotta worry about them coming in now, Clue. Gotta worry about them coming in. Too much pride for people. Yes, absolutely. Well, not for nothing. I don't know of a person who doesn't think of themselves as trying to be fully independent, whatever the hell that means. Because in some way, some shape or form, you have to rely on someone. But yeah, I get the aspects of that. Kids belong to the state of everywhere, so long as they have a social security number. So your kid got a social security number, they belong. Point blank. Period. Yeah, unless you were raised to be an educator yourself, that costs money. Homeschooling is more expensive, more expensive, if not just as expensive than anything else, than you trying to get your kids in the private school. It is not. It is not that simple. I would love the new standard to be that kids just get homeschooled, but no, it's super expensive. This is why people still opt out for public school. It's to focus on what they can think of the cost of having children, and not to understand how much it will cost them. Not Well, the thing in this day and age is that now all the younger people, or what they do is that they definitely weigh the cost, which is why we have a huge decline in the birth rates. We actually are running across a point where we're going to have more people on on the verge of passing away than those who are actually being able to replace them, because quite frankly, childcare costs too much. Childcare costs too much because the first thing that people are already struggling with right off the bat is just being able to keep a roof over their own head. One, having a job. Two, keeping a roof over their head. Now you want to talk about being able to take care of a little one? They're opting out. This is our future generations that we have to look at now. And I see a lot of older people that just say, well, gotta get my shit together. It doesn't matter because I already had my kids. Well, what about your kids? What about your kids? These are the things that need to be looked at, and not for nothing. This is why I say though we don't have that large communal aspect that we used to have, right? Where people would build up in their towns. If you're not someone that's been in a town for most of your life and you never wanted to leave, most people leave, and most people don't even want to venture out to build up new communities. They don't. Most people want to move into communities already established. They don't want to go out to but fuck Egypt and then build up a community, because there are still plenty of ghost towns or whatever else going on. Keep in mind, you got immigrants who want to go into ghost towns and now start willing to build shit up so they can have their own land, but that land has been there for who knows how long, and people who were already native to the land, us, didn't take advantage of that opportunity. Did not pull together resources, did not pull grants, did not go to banks, did not there were no investments made in these areas. Now people who were not originally from here are able to take advantage of it. And not for nothing, kudos to them for doing so. It just makes us look bad, in my own opinion. You know, focus too much. Oh yeah, I heard that. Um, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, that's not a problem. Not a problem, my guy. Take care of yourself. You said, Bitcoin for anything. Yeah, I think the only one that's gonna be a little bit more fungible at this moment is that damn Trump meme coin, which is crazy enough, but whatever. Yeah, whoever told you that, you should stop listening to everybody. That's not a thing. Listen, we of that age. We of that age. And not for nothing, I want you to think. I want you to picture this. Picture how your kids were raised. Well, picture how kids were raised, not your kids, but picture how kids were raised in like the 80s. Let's go further than that. Let's talk about the 50s. Let's talk about the 50s. Since people love to talk about the 50s, the 60s. I don't know why there's such an enamoring, a freaking a glazing of the 60s, and like for times that they have no concept about. None. Picture how the kids were raised in the 50s, the 80s, and I know what? I'll even bring a little bit more close to home. I'll say the 2000s, right? Now, compared to the days that we have now, parents back then didn't have to deal with Pinterest boards. They didn't have to deal with all of the freaking toy recommendations that were out there. They didn't have to spend hours of research doing this whole gentle parenting BS, all the techniques that had to go to being a good parent and having your friend, your kid being your friend. Oh, that shit is still annoying. It's a guy in his 40s. That shit is still annoying. Kids who are parents who are obsessing over whether their kids are eating non-GMOs, gluten-free, organic snacks. That wasn't a thing when it came to kids coming up. Back in the days, they fed their kids whatever was cheap. They let them play outside without supervision, folks. I probably got that one of the last few bastions of it as a millennial, as an early millennial. They didn't stress over whether their baby's car seat had NASA grade shock absorbing technology. Yes, there are parents who worry about that type of shit. And yet, somehow, those kids grew up just fine. We didn't have a lot of that shit. People from beforehand didn't have a lot of that shit. And they grew up just fine. They didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. Today, parenting is over. Let's be honest. It's competitive. It's parenting has become a competitive sport, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what it is now. You're judged on. You're judged for how you do it, how well you do it. If your kid isn't in extracurriculars by the age of like 3, if they're not eating the right foods, if they don't have the right sensory stimulation environment, people start giving you the side eye. Look it, that's a bad parent over there. How dare they don't have their 5-year-old already training to be in NASA? How dare they don't have their 7-year-old in a hyperbaric chamber? Parents today aren't just trying to raise kids anymore. They're trying to craft an experience. Whew. I can't believe I even just said that. The way it just left my mouth. Parents are trying to craft an experience. And I think that experience comes with a hefty price tag. So, is part of the problem that parenting is actually more expensive? Or have we set the bar so high that the average person feels like they can't afford it? And more importantly, if we stripped away all the modern day expectations, would more people feel comfortable having kids today? What happens when only rich people are allowed to have kids? Because we need to start taking a look at the bigger picture, folks. Because if this trend keeps going, where will it lead us? Right now, birth rates are declining in almost every developed country. Want to make sure I was very specific about that because I could hear people say not over in whatever, but Fuckistan or whatever. Like, oh, I'm not. That's in every developed country. In the U.S., we're already below. We're already below the replacement level. We're already below the replacement rates, meaning more people are dying than being born. And why does that matter? In case you were wondering, well, it means we're heading towards a future where fewer young people exist to support the aging population. For people like us who are millennials, who have been paying into taxes, paying into Social Security to pay for, quite frankly, our boomers and even Gen Xers, we may not see that same luxury when it's time for us to be able to recoup on Social Security. We don't have the numbers. The birth rates are too low. There's not enough replenishment for people who are going to be working. And look at Japan. Look at Japan. Their birth rates have been dropping for decades. And now they're facing a workforce crisis. There are not enough young workers to keep their economy running. If that happens here, what does it mean for Social Security, for healthcare, for industries that rely on young people to fuel the economy? And here's something even crazier to think about. If if only the wealthy can afford to have kids, which keep in mind, I'm a person that says that you should be able to make a certain amount of money in order to just start considering to have kids. These whole people that are not even having a job and just popping out babies and whatever, I'm not with that. But if only the wealthy were able to afford to have kids, what happens to societal mobility? Does the next generation just become a class of elite born children while the rest of us basically phase out? I doubt that. I doubt that. And maybe that sounds a bit dramatic. Maybe it's not. I don't think it will be. It's always a possibility, especially if technology is the thing that starts substituting the reason why we don't need that many people. If AI and robotics are the things that start taking over the spaces in which we have people, the capacity to need people, and the only people that we really need are the engineers, the techs who can run said machines, and that means there's a less need, there's a less value for everyday, ordinary people. Who should be responsible for making kids more affordable? This is where things get tricky, at least in my mind, thinking about it. Because if raising kids is getting out of reach, and it is, whose job is it to fix that? I remember when I remember when I first was thinking about kids a long time ago. This is when I was like in my early 20s. It was still kids were still estimated to be over 200,000. Now they're over 300,000. Should the government step in with subsidies or tax breaks or paid parental leave? Should companies offer more flexible work policies or higher wages? Oh, just the higher wages. Or like on-site childcare. I know I worked at a place that did on-site childcare. It was kind of limited on the hours, but still on-site childcare. Or is this just the reality of life now? Should people stop expecting to help and just start figuring out like previous generations did? Stop worrying about all the extra shit and just if you have kids, you are gonna have to run the gambit on the necessities, not the extras. And at what point does this stop being a personal choice and start being a societal problem? Just something I am thinking about right now. And so for those who people who are in the chat, for those who people, I have a question. No one's gonna say, I doubt anyone's gonna say yes to this, but for the people in here who are already doing their thing and you work for a living and you dealing with your own struggles, your kids don't have to know this, but do you regret having kids? It's time for the real talk. If you have kids, do you regret it? Not because you don't love them. Let me make that clear. Not because you don't love them, but because of how expensive the mofos are and how exhausting it is. And for those who don't have kids yet, do you actually want them? Or does the financial reality scares you out of it? That's just my question in all this. But those are my thoughts, people. Those are my thoughts. Time to open up the panel to give you your chance to give me your thoughts. Link is in the chat. Of course, it's tradition, into the top of the chat. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what's going on. What is it? I am totally screwing up. I'm gonna just. What are your thoughts on this? What is happening here? I see what I was also screwing up on. So thank you guys for letting me let me know that earlier. I'm gonna remove the goal. What's going on here in the chat? What are you guys are saying? Oh shit. Have I seen kids on a bicycle? It's been a while. I have seen kids on a bicycle. Yes, I actually have. I've seen kids on a bicycle. I just haven't seen them out in the streets. I've seen them in parks. I've seen things like that. Just not like willy-nilly going through the streets like that anymore. So yeah, if that's what you meant, then yes, I have not seen that in quite some time. 90 degrees. You said Texas though. Jesus Christ, Texas. Will you be prepared? Will you though? Will you be prepared? Most people say that, yeah, I'll get prepared. And then let's be honest, most people are not prepared. The birth rate in America, well, rather in the Western world, or you said it's 3 to, ooh, shit, 1 to 3. Gee, 1.3. That is something. Let's just say right now that the same way for Japan, right now in the US, we got more people dying than being born. I'll just put it that way. I did a whole stream, I don't know how long ago, where we were talking about the quality. Well, we were talking about the quantity of life, but not necessarily the quality of life. People are living longer, but that doesn't mean that they're living healthier, you know. And we were talking about, rather, is it even worth? Is it worth living long if it means that you will be unhealthy, and rather it might even be looked upon as a burden, you know? Because what's the point in living longer if your older years you're not really able to even take care of yourself? You're relying on other people to take care of you. And since we're even thinking about that, right? I got you right now, 10 fan. Just give me a moment. And while we're even thinking about that, if there's not enough younger people to come up in the world, so that when you're older, let's just say if you don't have kids of your own that's willing to take care of you, let's just say you wind up in an old folks home, who's going to take care of these old folks home? Hmm? I'm talking about us millennials, because we're the last bastion before the Z's and the alphas kick in. Who's gonna take care of you in the old folks home if you don't really have any family that's gonna be looking after you? Who's gonna be the one to wipe your ass, to give you the sponge bath? Who's gonna do it if there's not enough kids? Just a question. 10th, what's going on? Oh, hold on.
Getting gangster. That's very disrespectful. Leave me down in the basement like that. Who the fuck you think? Who you think you is?
I am me. Will always be me, sir.
I was very sad to see your community post last night. I had to get drunk on someone else's panel.
Yeah. So like, yeah,
It's all right.
I could not speak. I could not speak, and I was just like, I don't even know what the hell it was. But
Happens.
what are your
I was
thoughts?
supposed to do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just what are your thoughts?
On what you're talking about.
Hopefully, yes.
See, I have a continuous battle inside my head about this stuff, about all this stuff. I've mulled it over thousands of times, tens of thousands. I think about it all the time because I had a very, very rough upbringing. And I look back now and go, I actually had it pretty good. And I didn't know how good I had it. And I'm not saying that the people who, the adults weren't wrong. A lot of the stuff they did too. But if I could have known what life was really like, I would have made way different decisions, right? Like if I just would have gone to university, I'd be a billionaire right now. I'd be Elon Musk.
Well,
Instead,
depending on what you went
sat
for.
around. What's that?
I said, depending on what you went for. Sure.
Oh, I would have been an engineer because that's what my
Oh, yeah.
stepfather
You would
was,
have made money
right?
then. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying is, so talking about what you're talking about is everybody thinks they have the answer, right? Especially the government. They think, oh, you have to do this, you have to send your kids to school, you have to do. It doesn't seem like actually anybody has children's best interest at heart. They have the interest of, like you were saying, who's going to wipe your ass, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that should even be part of the conversation. I think that it's despicable. And I'm not saying you said anything wrong. I'm just saying the way that society looks at this, where it's like, oh, well, we don't have enough population increase or stability to be able to pay the pensions. Well, that seems like a you problem to me, right? That seems like you invested that money incorrectly, because isn't our money supposed to make money? It's always very confusing to me when they're like, oh, we can't possibly make enough money. And it's like, oh, okay, so you're mismanaging our money is what you're saying. And then you're telling us you need more of our money to mismanage, right? And it's a never ending cycle of me listening to other people say, I don't have enough to be able to give you back what you are entitled to that you paid into.
Yeah.
It's maddening to me.
Well. Outside, the idea of like this is something that I think we need to really train people in the minds are like you really don't pay into Social Security,
right? I know.
Most people still come with the mindset of saying, I paid into it. You didn't pay into a damn thing. You're paying for
you
someone
paid for
else.
the people that are on
And
it.
you're hoping that someone will be there to pay for you. And
so how is that fair? How is that fair? Why is it my responsibility when I don't have any family, right? That I could care to acknowledge their existence, right? Why is it my responsibility to pay their pensions and your family's pensions if you're not paying into it? Well, why is that my responsibility? No one can say, they can say, oh, well, because that's the nice thing to do. And it's like,
yeah,
great. Nice. And so you're telling me that I'm your slave, right? Not to go off topic, but I told you I got pulled over before Christmas, whole thing. Didn't those cops show up here a month later today to try to give me fines? A month later. Right? And I had a conversation, and I'm not sure quite how it's going to go yet, but see, I'm at a point in my life where I told a lawyer today when I was talking to the lawyer, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about criminal charges. I'm almost 50 years old. Put me the fuck in jail. Do whatever the fuck you're going to do. But just be aware, every step that you take that encroaches on what I feel is correct, the closer I'm going to be to Kingpin from Spider-Man, right? Every time I feel like I have no option and I'm trapped, I'm going to say, oh, okay. So then I don't have any way to win this game, right? You're just going to keep backing me into a corner? All right, let's play. Let's do it. And that's where a lot of society is now. That's why the Illuminati is allowing Donald Trump to do all the things that he's doing now, because they're trying to appease the masses so they don't revolt. That's what this is all about. Everybody thinks, oh, Donald Trump, he's trying to get vengeance for what was done to him. This is all a play, and you guys are all being fooled.
Angry Casper, you missed my episode on boomers. I think it was actually earlier this month. I think you missed it though. So the way how I look at Social Security is the same way how I look at the old philosophy when it came to like doctors. And I say, like, when I say doctors, I mean really, really old. Like, you don't really want to pay a doctor. Like, I don't like the way how we have the medical healthcare system now. To me, you should pay, if anything, like the way how we look at Social Security, or rather the way how we look at healthcare. You should be paying for a doctor. It should be state funded, right? Got great doctors and great hospitals, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. But you should pay a doctor for when you are sick, for when you get sick. Pay a doctor so that they're already taken care of, so that you got everything you needed for when you are sick, rather than you have to wait till when you get sick and then hope that you have money to pay a doctor. That's the asinine shit for me. Oh, we can't take care of you because you don't have insurance. Motherfucker, I've been paying healthcare for. What I've been paying Social Security for. Like, we should be funding doctors. That should be a prominent job to go after, because I should be paid for, because all the taxpayers, whatever, pays into the healthcare system, because people are always in need of health. Always need healthcare. Always. Rather than I have to wait till somebody gets sick and they come into work, and they come into where my place of business is for me to take care of them, and I can't take care of them because, quite frankly, they don't have the money.
I'm just confused why, if 100 years ago the average lifespan was 40 years or less, why everybody has the right to live. I'm very confused why it's like, oh, well, we have to fight cancer. It's like, no, that's part of life, and then you die. Why should one person get $5 million spent on their health care to make them live for another 5 or 10 years, yet other people do not get the same type of treatment?
I have a little bit of a counter to that. If that person has earned $5 million and they're willing to spend $5 million to keep themselves alive, have at it.
I get you, but see, things are different here, right? I'm in Canada. Nice to see you, Brick. I was talking to FTP today. I was telling him about you, that you're like his exact twin before he lost his mind. So you look like him and you act like him. It's weird, but you're way more sane than he is. Who's
FTP? Is that like
his name's Fuck the Police?
Okay.
Do you know who James Freeman is?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who James Freeman is. Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember about 6 years ago, James Freeman was in North Dakota, and then he went and met.
I'm a baby in the movement.
All right. So anyway, you probably seen the video as like a clip for funniness, and then the cop came up and was gonna arrest FTP for giving him the finger or whatever, and then FTP tried to run, but then he fell down, and then they arrested him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, that's FTP. Anyway, so here in Canada, we have supposed socialized medicine, right? And that's what they advertise when, like, the liberals in America or whatever, and they're like, oh, we need socialized healthcare. Well, I've had to have this discussion with many, many, many people, because people ask me about it because I'm Canadian. I'm going to tell you this right now. Your dental's not covered.
I already said,
they
shitty healthcare, because you know what happens when you guys who have money, you know what you do? You come here for your surgeries.
No, and also, so I had to get an MRI. a year and a half ago, right? So I was calling around trying to see if I could get an MRI sooner. And they told me it's going to be 12 to 14 months for a wait. But if you don't mind paying the $800, you can go get it today. So you got private health care and socialized medicine. And then, as you may be aware, over the last 5 or so years or whatever it is, then they brought in medical assistance in dying. So then all of a sudden, our military vets, they just get told, well, we can't afford your chairlift to take up your stairs in your house because you're a disabled veteran. How about try medical assistance in dying? And then only because Parliament has been prorogued, which just means it's shut down temporarily, like when you guys shut down for whatever. And so
it never lasts. We never get to that point.
They were trying to. Yeah, but they were trying to make it.
Vote somewhere.
Sorry, I'm almost done.
People don't believe in the system, I guess. So.
Yeah, but they're trying to make it so that mentally ill people and even children as young as like 12 years old, or maybe it was 14, that have mental illness can just go medical assistance in dying without the parents' permission. So that's what socialized medicine does. Like, that's straight up Third Reich stuff.
I don't get it. What are your thoughts, Brick?
Being able to afford the child that you're going to have is very important. I know that a lot of people don't have that ability.
I agree.
It doesn't necessarily.
Be honest, fucking is free. Well, unless you pay for it, but fucking is free.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe that that's a disqualifier for being a parent. The funny thing about it is, you see people who have nothing, they become a parent.
Can we make a distinction though? Can because I have to do this, and I know people don't like to agree with it, but I'm just gonna make. Can we agree if there's a distinction between a parent and a guardian?
Yes, definitely, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Just because you give birth to someone doesn't make you a parent, because a parent comes with intentions.
Yeah.
When I intentions, I mean intentions to raise, not use the kid as a cash cow, not use the kid to trap somebody. I mean, like, this motherfucker's here. You see them, you love them. You're doing your best to make sure that they are a good, decent human being.
Yeah, I mean,
you're instilling values. You're not using them just for WIC, Social Security, or whatever the fuck else. Like, you're not using them to be nasty to the motherfucker that don't want to pay whatever. You're there for them. You care about their well-being.
I've heard people say my biological mother or my biological father, right?
I've heard that.
And that's what they mean. They don't mean their parent. When they say my dad and they've got a stepdad or a adopted father, right? They're talking about their parent, and then, they say my biological dad. That what they're saying is that's not my parent. That's not my dad.
Not free for you. You never had the game, sir.
Yeah.
You never had the game, sir. That's why it's not free.
Yeah. I do believe it's very helpful when it is the biological parent who is the parent, because there's a better connection there, but that doesn't necessarily disqualify the stepfathers. Shout out to stepfathers. So
I have no shade for stepfathers. I think you're a bold and brave person. Listen, I say stepfathers are superheroes. You're either superheroes or you're people taking advantage of. For me, for the ones that I have seen, they have been superheroes, but I have seen some, not a lot, but some that just, I'm like, you should really stop.
I don't know what the statistic is, but it is the chances that a child will experience abuse is much more likely when you introduce a step parent into the home.
It depends on the kind of guy that the woman picks up.
I get you, but women don't choose good men.
Well, some women don't choose good.
There are no men who are good. This is a fact of
Yeah, in
reality.
this day and age, I guess. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna put it out there, that's the way we're all labeled now. There's no good man.
There's no good man.
If they had to redo the film, Stella don't get no man because there's no finding a good man.
Yeah, and I mean, it really does help if there are two parents in the home, right? So mother, father, right, and they get that view of what it means to be a man, and also what it looks like to be a woman. And I don't mean a floozy or a jackwagon. I'm talking about being a man, and then you, as a boy, you get to see what real women are like and how they conduct themselves, right? So these things that for some of us we might not see. I mean, these things are still happening. You know, there are some parents, there are some men, there are some women.
The 90s are not calling, sir. They're doing everything to burn the 90s down. The 90s are not calling.
And so just because you don't have the money, right, doesn't necessarily mean you're disqualified from being a parent. Because the thing is see it. Someone gives birth to a child. They have nothing at that point in time. Then that guy goes out and gets a job. She goes out and gets a job. Now they're hustling now because they've got this human being. It's not a bunny rabbit. They got to take care of this thing. And now they get to going, and by the time the child's 10 years old, now they've got a home, nice car. They're getting back and forth to work. Yeah, they're working, they're hustling, that sort of thing. So just not having anything isn't a disqualifier. And especially because once that kid pops out, a whole new world starts for you. Your life changes. You are no longer just Joe Schmo, unmarried, running around, sleeping with girls. That life is over. And that doesn't mean it always works that way.
And you do it over again.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't always work that way. Not everybody has that same mentality. Sometimes they see the kid and they're like, oh crap, let me get out of here. So there's decency, and then there's degeneracy, right? And so that's a little lower than good or bad, the standard right there, but decency, right? So at least some modicum of decency, so you recognize the ability that you have and you're going to go for it. You're going to go for what you can do. That's aptitude. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Can we be a little bit honest in saying that most pregnancies are young people? Now, when I say young, I don't mean teenage, even though there's a lot of teenage pregnancies. But a lot of people who are young and they did not expect that they were having fun. They didn't really know what was going on, or it was somebody they think they might have been serious, or some guy they got a trap or whatever. But it's mostly done by young people,
20s, early 30s.
Right. Yep. Which is well, I'm not even sure about the early 30s, but most people, like they're younger to mid 20s. I'm like, most people don't plan it. So like this is why I try to make a distinction between guardians and actual parents, because the first people that I really came up with, I really had this concept in my head and I really stood for it and I really went for it, were two teachers. They were married. And they were married, and they were like, you know what? It was so funny because it was one of those times where I stood back. I stood back, but I was actually doing homework, but it was in the kids with detention. I'm not saying I had detention. I just happened to stay in the class where he happened to have detention. But as I was just doing homework, they were just sitting there lollygagging, having fun, whatever. And they were like, you know what, we should have a kid. Yeah, we should have a kid. We never had a kid, whatever. And I'm just going, yeah, I make enough. You can be covered for this time. You can be off for this summer. I'll take care of whatever, do the summer school or whatever. But first time I really saw adults, even though they were both two teachers. So let's be honest, the pay is whatever the pay was for teachers. But two adults who were being intentional and did not have any children. Literally having a conversation about it. That was nothing I ever saw before. Which made me think like these were actual adults. These were to be parents rather than one person that just springs it on the next person and they sitting there, you know, they do the pee on the stick and the bitch is like, fuck, fuck. Like wondering if when you tell the guy he's either gonna get happy and give you a hug or he gonna get he gonna be okay, he push you down the stairs. Like these were people who actually were intentionally happy, like they were planning for it. Planning. It wasn't a surprise. Like, guess what? I'm pregnant. You're pregnant? We're gonna have a kid? Yeah, we're gonna have a kid. It wasn't that, it was like, I'm gonna put a baby up in you now, right? Yeah,
I'll be back.
You gonna get this work, right? Because they planned it.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
It's a rarity. It's a rarity that you get that. You get what are you doing? You giving me these deep strokes. You trying to get me pregnant? Yeah, I'm trying to get you pregnant. Girl. Oh shit, that's not, no, it's not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. She don't want it. She don't want
it. It's not that. So this is why I think of the younger people, right? They're not even going to be in. Could you imagine? Because this is the thing that pops into my head. If the population rate gets so low, and I even did a short on this. I can't remember if I did a video, but I know I did a short on this, where the whole big thing when when Tasha K started doing the whole black men are needed in Japan because Japan's birth rate is so low and they're trying to pay people to knock up kids or whatever to get. I was like, wait, what? They trying to do what? They trying to do what? I was like, hold up. Tasha, are you telling me that these Japanese girls are trying to get knocked up? Passport, bro. I am ready. I will go. I am set. I am good to go. Listen, how much they put? $75K just to put out a kid? I looked at my chick. My chick was like, I'm not even gonna be mad at you. I'm not even gonna be mad at you.
Just gotta get paid.
Yeah, you gotta get paid. Just don't try to forget me. I was like,
got a job to do.
like, love you.
I'll see you next week.
I was like, shit. Start looking up JetBlue tonight. Like, it's like,
I'm not really. So, I mean, birth rate itself, not because I know the topic is affordable birth rate, but the birth rate itself, I'm not really worried about the birth rate. People are gonna fuck.
That's, we could say that for X and us. Alpha's not, Z's not doing it.
That's because they're fat.
No, they're not all fat. In fact, a lot of them. In fact, here's the crazy part: a lot of them are thotty. Rick, never in my life that I think I wish I was born so much younger. Because these chicks is. Do you understand? These chicks are giving up like it's nothing. I had to really actually to learn game and learn to finesse a chick and get out of the. Now it's just like they walk. Listen, it blew my mind. I'm in my 40s now. It blew my mind in my 30s when I had a young 20s talking about Resla, you trying to fuck? Whoa, stop, wait. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to, like, no, if you're trying to fuck, I'll give you this box. And I'm just like, hey, what now? You sound saying what now? Yeah, like I'm working at places. I'm working at places. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be leaving this location. I have to work at this other location now. I'm not gonna be coming back for a while. You want to be, oh, you leaving? Chicks who are younger are crying. I'm like 38. They're like
Right.
23, 21. I'm like, why are you crying at the fact I'm leaving? You should go find. Like, I know I was feeling old. I'm like, I'm sitting there, they're giving me hugs and shit. I got crying in my fucking shirt. You should find somebody your own age. I've never said those words before. Now I'm feeling old. I'm trying to go find the fuck am I doing right now? The fuck am I doing? Like I'm like dealing with young girls who's sitting there like, you know what, Resla? I'm like, what's wrong? I'm on my phone. I'm trying to order like, yeah, I'm about to order this food for delivery. You want something? Yeah. Oh yeah, I want something too. What you want? Like I don't even know. Or I got you. Resla, I wish your girlfriend would allow you to have a girlfriend. I'm like, excuse me? I don't know about it because because I want kids, like that. She's like, I want kids. I love hard. I'm like, whoa, hold up, wait, what's going on here? The way how they move fast is ridiculous. But yet, and still, while they have no problem being in the track, getting banged out, getting trains ran on them, and all kind of whatever, they're not having kids. They're not getting married. It's like we went from the 60s of free love and we came right back. We're still free love again because like they fucking like crazy, but they not out there giving kids and they are not out there getting pregnant. It's not happening.
And I heard you mention the 60s before. So the way that I see it is, and this is just history in general, the same thing that was happening back then is happening now. We just get to see it. So back then, what we were actually looking at was what people wanted to have us see. So it was like propaganda, right? So we weren't being shown all of the intricacies of the craziness, the degeneracy that really did exist back then, and because of that, also the ability to connect has made it a little more popular, but it's not like overly popular. You know what I'm saying? So
what do we exactly do we mean by connect?
Well, because they have the dating websites and things like that, and you can get really deep down into that.
We get access to more people now, but the aspect of connection is different. I think at this point we should really start making the difference between connection and just access. We have access to more people. People are not really connecting because I'm not for nothing. I didn't connect with anyone on Tinder, but I had a lot of access to women.
Yeah, I'm not into the dating websites and all of that craziness.
I didn't say I dated.
But the websites, that's like it's so. It's not personal for me. Like I gotta meet you. I gotta meet you straight up. See what you're like in person.
You can meet them, but I've met.
I mean, before I talk to you, I want to meet you.
Listen, there are some that might meet you. There's some that might meet you the first day and say yes, let's go hang out at the do the three F's that I hate: the farmers market, the fair, and then fuck. So there
gotta be in there somewhere.
there are some that they'll do all that stuff, but
yeah, I mean, that's not all necessary. I mean, at least first and foremost that first meeting, right? That first little chat. Hi, how you doing? All that good stuff. And then past that, setting up times to do things and yada yada, however you're going to set that up. But that first chance meeting, I feel like it's so important, right? You get to see that first reaction that they're going to put on. And this is just like from a man's perspective, looking at what a woman will do in a first chance meeting. Because what she's going to do during that interaction, that encounter, will tell you a lot about the way she's going to encounter other men.
Not really, because let's be honest, most people in their first encounters put up their representative.
Yeah.
I learn more I learned more than what the bullshit representative should give me in a one night stand than anything else. If I manage to somehow fall asleep, very rare that it happened, fall asleep a little overnight, and I realize I'm woke up suddenly in the middle of the night because she farts really hard in the sleep. I'm like, so this is what I have to get used to. I'm gonna get my pants on.
Well,
unless she's someone you rock with and you're okay and you're like, baby, that was cool. What was cool? You farted really hard. Like, no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You did. It's all right. It's all right. Like,
yeah, that shit was loud.
unless that's what you're into, you know.
Yeah, and so actually, you're kind of making my point for me, because the one night stands, right? So that girl, right? If she's willing to sleep with you on the first night, she's willing to do it again with someone else. And so if I'm looking for an actual mate,
well,
I'm not looking for someone who's going to sleep with me on the first night.
Well, here's my thing. I am a person who will say this. And I'm mad because I've had this idea in my head for a long time, but I never wanted to say it because of just the stigma of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it the same way how basically even Kevin Samuel said it.
Okay.
Because I never wanted to say it before. I never really had a problem because I was a guy that had no problem with one night stands.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
But it was always a stigma on women, right?
Yes.
But I would say it the same way he did. Ladies, do not go on a second date with a man that you're not willing to sleep with on the first night. Because that means you don't find them sexually attractive.
No,
I don't want to have to the same way. I don't want you to have to warm up to the dick is the same way I don't want to have to warm up to the pussy. I don't want to. I want to when I see you, I think you're hot. I want to jump your bones.
Well, the problem is what you said is the willingness. So if she's willing, that's her mentality.
If she finds you hot and she's willing to fuck you that night, I don't have a problem because there are plenty of women that I've had dates with, first dates, whatever, and I'm willing to. Women I have never had a date with, I'm willing to fuck with.
Well, I mean, that's not a problem. Like, so I'm attracted to the person, right? Or she's attracted to me. So we're both wanting to. Right?
But if she and I were talking, we were at the water cooler, and she said, Resla, you just so funny. And she hit me in the chest and everything. I'm looking at her like, and we walked by one of the electrical closets. She's opened the closet. She says, do you want to? I'm going to fuck her.
Now, take that, right? Take that.
Yeah.
And she sees another guy. And she's willing to fuck him on the first night. And then she sees another guy. And she's willing to, this is third night now. She's willing to fuck him on the first. How many guys now are you competing with?
The truth is, Rick,
mm-hmm.
You'll never know anyway.
You'll never know, but you'll have a better idea of a good guess.
Will you though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it all depends. It all depends on the chameleon that you're dealing with. Unless somehow you are a, I'm going to be very PG as I can with it. Unless you're somehow a professional grave digger.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
but listen, grave digger.
Listen, humans are creatures of habit, right? And so,
not always the best habits, but yeah.
Yeah, humans are Yeah, because they socialize when they're social, and they stay home when they're antisocial. They go to work when it's time to work. They're very much creatures of habit, and so, generally speaking, people do what they want to do or what they have to do, right? So, if you got a family gathering, you got to get there, right? This is something that you do every year, and you never miss it. You're gonna make it there. You're gonna make it there, right? And so, if you're dating, right? If you meet a girl, you talk to her, You know, you guys been talking for a little while, maybe a week or two. Say, I got this family gathering. I have to go there. And she says, oh, that'd be cool. I'd love to meet some of your family. Well, you're not going to miss the family gathering, but then you got a choice to make. Do you want to go with her? Do you want to go without her? Right. So it's only been a couple weeks, right? You don't want them to meet. Yeah.
I'm not taking her.
Now you've been dating this girl for about a year.
Too much info. I'm not going. No.
Yeah, you've been dating.
Now, if it's me, the reason why I'm not gonna take her is because
it's just too early.
I don't want to get her hopes up. That's the reason I'm not gonna take it. For me, my family's not gonna say, "Oh my God, he brought somebody. She might be the one." That's not what they're doing. They're like, "This hoe brought one of his little side pieces over here." Yeah. That's what they're gonna think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it's somebody I've been talking about it for a while, then they'll know. Okay. But if it's somebody I'm just bringing up sporadically, it's just, this is one of his little side pieces. It's all right.
Right. Now, most likely, if you guys have been dating for a year and a half, you're already bumping uglies, right? And you've already talked about her. You've already told the fam about her. She might even be staying with you a year and a half, right? And then she ain't gonna miss that family gathering, most likely. She already knows what's going on. She's been around, so those social habits, right? They come out of a person after you've been around them long enough. And I'm saying that sexual activity is one of those things that if you're doing it on the first night every time, that's a habit. That's something you do all the time. Like you're willing to do it on the first night every time.
I don't disagree. I guess I have been one of those guys who just don't kiss and tell. Because I have met people who have gotten serious with women who I have absolutely slept with. Not a lot of women, but I've slept with, and I'm just like, this chick I met at this club, and I'm like, what club? Oh, yeah, I used to frequent that club. And then I run it, and I'm going, and I pretend like I met her for the first time. Hey, what's going on? Yo, nice to meet you. I just finally heard this. Like, their minds is all spiraling. I've met exes that I've met. They ran across. They got a new man, whatever. Oh, what's going on? I meet the guy, dap him up. What's going on? Like, how you two know each other? Oh yeah, we were old friends. I was be friends with somebody. Used to be friends.
Yeah, you already know.
Oh yeah, we used to work together. I no longer work there. I had the book because it was crazy and that. I've done that. They hit me up right after, like, oh my God, thank you for it. I'm like, don't thank me and don't text me anymore. like I've done that.
So I got a better one. Okay. Guy meets girl, finds out she's got a kid, right?
Okay.
Maybe by this time they're already doing something, and eventually she's like, yeah, I got a kid. Or even if it's the other way around, he's got a kid. Now you don't have a problem with that, right? Well, turns out she's got actually 3 kids, and they're from 3 different baby daddies.
See, lies, deception. There's a difference here.
There is a difference. Okay. Let's say that she tells you she's got 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies from the rip. Said, yeah, this is little Carl, this is little Daddy, this is little Tanya.
It's automatically a no because I have rules. I have personally. I have terrible twos. I have terrible twos.
You know what she's after? She's after that child support money.
2 kids from 2 baby daddies. 2 kids, 2 baby daddies. 2 many jobs. 2 many degrees. Like
She probably got some Johns on the side too.
Too much attitude. I like. She got boob jobs. I mean, she got 2 boob jobs. 2 boob jobs. Like terrible twos just across the board. If you meet my terrible twos, the answer is a no. You might be nice to play with. I am never taking you seriously, and keep in mind, I'm going to always keep you at a distance. Always keep you at a distance. The moment you hit my terrible twos, I have met girls. They've met a lot of, like, they just hit that line, but they haven't crossed the line. Like, ooh, you close, and the moment they do something where they do something extra, that second, I'm like, terrible too. Can't do it with you. Can't.
Yeah, so that willingness to do something on the first night, it's not a deal breaker, right? Necessarily. But I just don't
You
see
just
the
can't believe it and make them out their mouth. I never do this with any other guys. Yeah, sure, you don't. Yeah, sure, you don't. I'm the first, right?
Been this far.
I never do this with anybody. Oh, you must be so special. Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay.
But I just don't see the relationship going anywhere.
But that's exactly what I told them. This was a great night. I just don't see the relationship going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be brutally honest, right? And so the idea that that's going to turn into something more is just out the window, much less kids, right? So if I'm looking for someone who's interested in having kids at all down the line,
all right,
yeah, there's just nothing there on that basis alone, like sexual promiscuity, that idea.
Well, let's just say you find someone that you want to have kids with. Looking at today's market, looking at how the way things are today, the standards, the amount of money that it takes to, I don't know why I have so many ambulances that are coming by today. I swear, people are dying.
Heard the car going off earlier.
Dying over the weekend. This is like the sixth that has happened since I've
it's because you're in the city.
Like, I don't know why they're dying. Like
they ran out of Social Security money.
maybe, but with the way how expensive it is for kids now, would you be willing to really still try to quote break the bank in order to have a child with somebody?
Would I be wanting to risk breaking the bank?
It's over $300,000, sir. Unless you just got that sitting willy nilly, this is a drop on little brick Jonesy Jr. Like this is like, unless you got that just sitting there waiting, it's gonna be breaking the bank.
Yeah, it's worth it. I'll never be on the side of kids are not worth it. The kids, they're that's the future. That's the next generation. So obviously, always for me. But as far as when it comes down to parenting, and if it's not working out and that parent isn't at least seeking the next, I don't know, portion of help, right? And I do mean help. I don't mean a handout, like an actual help. I help you, and then now you are doing for yourself what you need to do. If that parent is not seeking that help, if he can't get to that point, then that's not a good parent. And I feel like it's that person's parent who is obligated to point that out. So the grandparents. That's my opinion.
Oh, if there are grandparents, do you think
right?
Let me ask you this question: do you think that we got? I mean, I know there's other countries that have gotten to this point of a huge birth decline, but do you think one of the reasons that we got this way is because, at least here in the U.S., do you think that we've gotten this way because of the fact that we have destroyed the nuclear family in lieu of single parent households?
Partially the governance is at play, but primarily it is the previous generation letting it happen.
So you mean X?
Well, not necessarily X, because there are boomers who are grandparents.
Sure, but the boomers had their kids. It's the X's that started screwing up and not really staying in the household with each other.
Would you say Y is doing the same thing as well?
Well, why is us? Why are millennials? We're
Right.
yeah, we've been doing the same thing as well.
Same thing, right? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say the boomers. And it's not entirely their fault. It's X and Y as well, right? So the grandparents are to blame for what the grandparents. I mean, it's prodigy, right? If
Mm.
this is your prodigy, this is your line, and you are not paying attention to what the next generation is doing, and you're not stepping in, kicking your kid in the square in the butt at 30 years old when he's not doing the right thing. He's
Well,
doing
okay, so I'm
drugs.
I'm happy that you said that at 30 years old. At what point? Because here's something we have to realize. At what point?
Does
Because
the
at some
grandparent
point,
step in?
well, I guess if you want to put it that way, because at some point you're not really a parent anymore. You're more just of an advisor.
Yeah, you're biological.
You're you're a biological advisor, but no one has to fucking listen
Oh,
to
you
you.
mean the grandparent? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Yes. So
This is what I also mentioned, like community, the aspect of community and the big family dynamics, and even elders still had say in that. A lot of that has changed. A lot of that has
well,
changed in the U.S. In the
yeah,
U.S.
yeah, and it wasn't instilled by the boomer generation into the X and the Y
Hmm.
to say, "Hey, I need help. Now can I go to my mother or my father?" Because at 20 and 30 years old, it's the idea of fully independent. Instead, it was instilled in the X and Y, you got to be fully independent and get out of my house at 18. Like, huh? You're actually allowed to stay on your parents' insurance until the age of 26,
26
right?
now. Yep.
Right. So if the insurance companies recognize that you're not a man as a man,
And
yeah, until the age of 26, the insurance companies recognize that. Then why don't the grandparents or the parents, and why don't our government? I do believe that 18 is a very liberal age to be calling someone an adult. It's very liberal, which, hey, we're a liberal nation. What is it? What do we do? We're not as liberal as some. There are some that are more liberal even than that, which is insane to me. But the human mind, and there's the studies and stuff that say 24, 25, 26.
no,
That's
you
generally
you
the
mentioned the whole, if the government recognizes the fact that that essentially you're not necessarily doing your thing, right?
yep.
I'm not sure. This is the reason why I never really thought really beyond it, but I always come to a point in my mind where I stop and I just say I'm not comfortable with the idea of government acknowledging that people are not really as a man if you still
Hmm.
have to be taken care of all the way to freaking 20 to 26. I've never
Yeah,
really been comfortable with that.
yeah, and I completely agree. Because the thing is, yes, the government might do well to begin to recognize it, but more importantly, the parents, right? If at 18 years old, I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like there's a lot that you should have accomplished by 18 years old, but if you haven't accomplished it, the things that need to happen for you to be quote unquote independent on your own at 18, and your parents say, well, it's too bad you're 18, now get the heck out of my house, that's crazy, because this is your prodigy, right?
I think the concept of people. Now, I don't know if this was a step. Normally, I first heard the concept of like, just get the hell out of my house as a step parent thing, but then
Yeah,
somehow it translated into a just normal man thing, normal father thing.
yeah,
I don't understand the whole thing of throwing your kids out as early as possible. I never understood that. Most families who I understood who came up prior to millennials didn't do that. Now there
right,
were people who chose to leave, chose people who got married and partnered up or whatever to leave, or there was the person who was a grown ass adult, unfortunately, almost till they were 30, but they lived in the basement or whatever. Like there are those people. But the idea of like you're 18, get the fuck out, that was something that happened during our age as millennials. And I was just like, I don't
I agree.
get that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. So let's say that
Not that I
young
was looking
lady,
forward to it, but it was like, what the fuck is going on here?
yeah, young lady has child at 18, or young man, young lady, they have a child at 18. Now all of a sudden they've got to deal with this. They've got to, go get work, provide, that sort of thing, right?
Right.
Now for the next 18 years, your life is taking care of this child, which means that when this child turns 18, you will be 36. Your life is over. You will not be going back out to the bar. There's no, you're 18, out of my house. I want my home back because you're 36. You're not going to the bar. You're not going out. Now your child is 18. They have a child. You're 36, right? Now you're a grandparent. You want that 36, 40 years old, whatever. Let's say it's 40 because it's 20, whatever. You're a grandparent. Be a grandparent now. And then the next generation comes in, you might end up being a great grandparent.
But that's not what they want, because as a grandparent, they're like, I didn't get to go to the bar, so you don't get to go to the bar. I'm not watching your kid because my parents didn't watch my kid.
Right. Yeah. And that's that want versus what they need to do. Right. Yeah. And that's the prodigy. It's like you chose at 18, not because you wanted to, but because you had to, because you needed to be a parent. You chose to be a parent at 18. Now your life is a totally different life than all those people you see going out to the bar. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You want that, and I don't necessarily mean you want it at 18. I'm saying if you're a parent and you want to see your prodigy do well, the thing is you're going to have to continue that for the rest of your life.
I'm not sure these days that most people are looking for their offspring to do well. I think most people just care that they have offspring, not that they actually do well.
I agree with that too.
Which is disgusting to me.
Yep.
This is why fair. You hear people who turn around and say they have 4 or 5 baby mamas. Like, are you just hoping that the lottery hits for one of them and they're gonna do well? Well, like I've been banking them out, blowing the dice. Like one of them's gonna be there. And I'm just
don't worry, the state gonna take care of my kids. Like, I mean, come on, really? Yeah, no, the state, you do not want the state to take care of your kids.
Not a good look. It is not a good look. I do not.
They turn out to be some of the dumbest kids on the planet.
And this is what I talk about for people who are not intentional. Oh, I don't want a kid with her. Why you sleep with her then? Why you let that happen? How you let that fall through? Come on now. And this is why I don't knock a lot of different parents, for those who choose to be parents, because people don't want to explain that the fact of being a parent means is something very important that doesn't want to get explained by a lot of people. Sacrifice. You're going to give up the most important thing that you have. Time.
Yes.
And this is why I say there's a difference between the guardians and the parents. The people who knew that they were going to be giving up time, and therefore knew, because they had that mindset, decided to allocate that to making sure they bring forth the most productive individual, the most productive offspring that they could. You're a parent to me. That's the difference between raising and maintaining. When we look at just the price tag of what is just the feed, clothes, go to public school, whatever, you're just maintaining. That doesn't mean you're instilling shit. That doesn't mean you're raising a damn thing. For those, because let's be honest, the kids that do better are the kids that get the extracurricular activity. I'm not even saying you got to go to public school. I'm not even saying you got a private school. I'm not even saying that. But for those who actually, because here's what we always hear, right? Even in a dual family household who has to pay for childcare and sitters and everything, because we're always working. there's no child that I haven't heard turn around and say, I give all that shit up if I just knew that mom and dad were in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I could just spend more time with mom and dad. I didn't really see. I saw Rosalinda more than I saw my mom. I saw my dad every other week because every time he came home, I was asleep. And when I wake up, he's gone. I only saw him on his days off. Your kids will prefer to see you more than
More
whatever
than
the
that
hell,
video game.
whatever life style you're trying to
Yeah.
state that. Which is why I also said that in the olden days, which is why we mentioned like the 50s, the 60s, the 80s. I would even say like close to early 2000s. People were still able to still raise children on one income. There was at least someone in the household still instilling values. And in this day and age, even two people who don't have kids are having a problem paying for rent on their own, paying for housing on their own.
I'm back.
Children.
It's all. Sorry.
Oh, you just came out of nowhere, almost scared the
Well,
living
I
shit
was
out of
listening
me.
for a while here, but I
I'm
just
just
didn't
saying, like
interrupt.
you just sneak attack, like
I had to go have sex. I had to go have sex.
I did not need to know that.
I could have got my whole life.
Yeah. Calm down, bro.
Not hearing that.
I'm not here at all.
Yes.
It's almost like somebody's getting rich out of what you guys are talking about. Almost.
Like with dollar bills or like,
yes, so you guys are saying that you could raise a child. I've heard all these discussions hundreds, if not thousands, of times just in the last couple of years, right?
Sure.
But I never ever see people always respond to what I say as if what I'm saying is ludicrous, but nobody ever has I don't ever hear anybody saying, well, this is the resolution for this problem. All I ever hear is, oh, well, you should work harder. Oh, okay. How many jobs do I have to have? I'm just asking. And then I don't know how it is everywhere in North America, but I had this argument with, I think it might have been on this panel. Can't remember where I was a couple days ago, maybe a week or two ago. And somebody said, oh, well, you just don't want to pay taxes. And it's like, right. Because if I make $30,000 a year, I pay like 12% income tax and then all the other taxes, right? But every time you go up to another tax bracket, you pay an increasing amount. So all the billionaires like that Chinese guy and Trump and all these guys have already told you, they don't pay taxes at all, quite simply because they spend their debt. You don't pay taxes on debt. So if you're poor, too bad, so sad. And that's the end of the discussion.
So let me. I was reading this and I was still trying to read it for a while. I'm just trying to. Jesus Christ, because it just that's so bad. It's so sad to read this. Snowman says that.
Yeah, I agree.
Parents actually want their kids to fail and do everything to make sure that they do. Like that is so. I would never. Oh, it makes me feel bad. As someone who doesn't have kids, it scares me that I would be in a position where that would be the mindset that I have.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. It's not really about this, but it kind of is. My brain's a little bit weird, right? So I associate things that other people don't see as associated. But so imagine 10th man is like 14 years old. And he walks into his locker and he's holding his hand in his hat because you're not allowed to wear the hat in school. So he's holding his hat in his hand. He's about to put it in his locker, do what he's going to do. And the two kids that are like a year or two younger or have their lockers on either side of 10th man. And they get into a fight with me in between. I have no idea what's going on. So I put my hat on and push them apart and say, you guys got to stop. Right? And then the teacher comes, takes the hat off my head, walks away with my hat. I say, what do you think you're doing? He goes, you can meet me in the office. I said, fuck you, you fat piece of shit. I get expelled, but I didn't want to get these two kids in trouble. Right? So I get expelled from school. My parents don't defend me at all, even when I tell them, what's that? Yeah. And so no one defended me. I had to fight my whole life against nonsense like this. And just like you're saying, parents want to see their children fail. I really, truly believe, because I've mulled this over thousands of times in my head, my mother hated me because I looked exactly like my father. Hated me. She said it. She said it over and over and over.
So many times.
Over and over and over.
I'm not going to listen. You know what? I'm not even going to say that. Be on public platform. I'm not going to say that.
I get you, but just imagine being like a 12-year-old kid and your mother saying, "You're just like your father."
To hear that in my 20s,
you know what I mean?
Hearing pregnant women say that to their child's face, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I felt bad for the kid. I'm like, "Why would you?" This is the type of people who I turn around and say, "You just believe because you can part your fucking legs, or you can just have somebody, or you can just jizz in someone." And you know what's the sad part about it? It's mainly, I'm just gonna say it to the 2.3 women in here. It's y'all who do this. It's I'm sorry, ladies. Y'all say some of the nastiest things to your kids. It's not the guys who I tend to see this. The guys tend to be very rough, or at least on their boys. But whether it's the girls or whether it's the boys, y'all are really rough on your kids. Especially to let's just be honest, to niggas that you couldn't hold on to. To guys you couldn't hold on to. Y'all see that some of the nastiest things to your kids. I've seen it from Black women. I've seen it from Spanish women. I've seen it from Asian women, y'all. Asian. Thought that was gonna go white, right? Nope, Asian women.
Yeah, but don't put it all on women. It's not just women. I know a
no, I didn't say just on women, but I'm saying, like, I've seen guys be nasty to their sons, but I've seen the ladies use that term and say you look just like your father more than anyone else. It is very, very rare that I hear a guy say you look like your mom. I probably may have heard that one time, but I've heard it way more with a woman. That you look just like him. Oh, go away. You look just like your father. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I will say that, that is actually very much accurate, that the women typically do say much worse things, because the reality of the thing is that the men can physically do something. So they're not going to just say something. They're going to physically. So the abuse doesn't come from the mouth with a guy who's abusive. Now, there is abusive physical actions that do come from women. But when it comes from the guy, guys typically don't abuse just by saying words. They go to that physical thing. It's testosterone, right? And that's just the reality of the nature.
You say that. You say that, Brick, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But let's be honest, we see a lot of the charges that are being brought for, especially for like endangerment of children. We know who those statistics come from, and let's be honest, they're not coming from men.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in my mind.
Right.
Because the part that pisses me off when I hear these particular stats It's the same thing, which is why they're granted in the court. Oh, because you're just so nurturing. Ladies are just so
Well,
nurturing.
what I was thinking when Brick was saying what he was saying is, this is just my observation, but they say that when a woman is being mean to their child, that's they're just nurturing the child. But if a man is being abusive, whether it's verbal or physical, it's always seen as abuse. Always.
Yeah, I agree. And
Just
and,
saying.
and
I have witnessed. I would say this is one time someone I know. I have witnessed a kid, while I was also a kid, on his hands, on his knees, on bottle caps, liquor bottle caps, and raw rice, with dictionaries stacked up on his head. And if he dropped the dictionary, he was beaten with extension cords.
wow,
Guess who that was done by?
the mother.
There you go.
If I ever saw something like that, that person would be done. Done. Just that, like, a lot of people go, "Oh, you wouldn't do
I mean,
these things." Yeah,
talking
no,
about
trust me, I would.
torture. We're talking about balancing books on your head. You're not even doing this. You can't even hold it. You have to hold. You have to be in the corner of the wall. You cannot use your hands to balance the book. And if the books drop, extension cords.
Yeah, that's wire, by the way.
Wire.
Yeah.
Rubber wiring. Do you think that was not torturing?
That's exactly what that was.
Raw rice and bottle caps. And all
Sounds
those
like
bottle caps all those bottle caps were turned upwards, right?
Sounds like a character building opportunity.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and there's abuse that comes in, all or torture, if you want to call it, whatever, that comes in all these different types where people do these things to their kids, whether it's locking them in the closet or, beating them with an extension cord. Which, all of that.
Oh my Jesus, my days. My days. Yeah, Josh. Yeah. Oh man. He says, as a man ought not cry what abuse is in public.
As a man.
As a man, though. A true man. I'm gonna have a meme about that. I'm gonna put up something about that. I got something in mind. Oh, as a man. Oh my God. I really detest that phrase. I really do. For some reason, it is kryptonite for specific types of people. It is kryptonite for people who want to show bravado. It is such kryptonite. It irks my soul because I've heard it for way too long in my life.
Just be a man. As a man.
As a man. I'm not saying that you should do it. I'm just saying that, this is what I do as a man.
I'm
not saying that you should take that. Listen, I'm not saying, Brick, you should take.
Oh.
My lens fell out of my freaking glasses.
That's what it sounded like.
Holy shit. Oh, I lost them.
That's Jesus.
Oh, I actually lost the I'm about to really clean up my. Oh, I just lost the freaking the screw to it. I didn't even know it was coming loose.
Don't buy your glasses on Temu.
How dare you? How dare you? Nah, I'm really gonna have to find that screw. Oh shit. That'll be a mission.
Resla had something important to say. He's throwing his
I
glasses.
I don't even. Yeah, I had something. It was gone. Now I can't believe that just really happened. You know how small that screw is? Jesus
Yeah, you'll
Christ!
never find it.
Do you have
Oh no,
carpet?
no. Oh my goodness! I need to find that screw.
It
Use
might
a
have already
magnet.
fallen out before.
I don't know. That's gonna be really important to find.
Look,
Whatever I was gonna say.
as a man, if you can't find that screw,
Fuck me.
We're
Man.
gonna make you kneel on bottle caps and rice and beat you with extension cord till you find that screw.
and then lock you in the closet.
Didn't lock me in the closet. I listen. That as a man shit really bothers me because it's meant. That phrase is only meant to gaslight. That's it. It's only meant to gaslight. And I watch so many people fall for it. I'm just like, the fuck is going on here?
Well, if that is so, right? So, like I've said it, not as a man, but I am just a man. Is that gaslighting?
If you say you're just a man, that's fine.
Okay. I was just curious because I know I've said it in the past. I didn't want to. I want to be able to use my phrase.
This is the problem. Most people are very disingenuous, right? And those are the people that I see as evil. So I know this isn't really on topic, but you're saying about as a man, blah, blah, blah. So very recently, I watched an interview with Piers Morgan, Cenk Younger, and that other.
Oh god damn it! You're my Andrew Wilson. I didn't see it yet. God damn it! It's still in my tab. I haven't seen it yet.
I watched that the other day, man. Night before last or yesterday.
I was gonna watch it today. God, I was thinking about recording it.
It was the most epic interview I've seen with either one of those two people. I won't ruin it. All I'll say is by the end of that interview, it showed exactly why I stopped watching Young Turks a long time ago, because they're disingenuous. I watched a video from another guy. I don't remember who it is yesterday. And I typed into the comments, I'm like, I don't even like this guy, but he's right.
Who is it now?
Andrew Wilson and Cenk Uygur were going at it on a debate on Piers Morgan. I literally have it in my tab.
It was phantasmal.
I'm still waiting to see it.
No, it was yesterday. Oh, okay, I see now.
It was done about a day ago.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a look.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because when you have a large segment of society, I wouldn't say a majority, but a large segment of society that are disingenuous and evil, like Cenk, well, it's very hard to ever find common ground between sound-minded people.
Yeah, so this is the problem that I have with that. So it said that no man is good, right? There's no good man, right?
I think I'm good.
That is to say, listen, you said you think you're good. I say I strive just to be decent.
Right. That's kind of what I say.
I don't think I'm terrible, even though I know who my monster is. I don't say I'm a good man. I just strive to be decent.
Right. Yeah. And so there's degenerate men and women. But I would never say that a man.
Speaking of degenerate men, what's going on, Josh?
None much. I just decided to drop in here because apparently you're teaching little boys how to be girls instead of men.
What is a man?
Person that's
We can't hear. We can't hear you, Resla. We can't hear you no more.
I was saying, as a rice paddy farmer,
Speaking of which, I'm actually at the rice paddy farm as we speak, Tet holiday, so I'm hanging out with the in-laws. I'm busting my ass.
Nice, nice. You didn't bring no lady boys with you, did you?
shit.
Which did you?
Hey, I'm
Which-
just hanging around
did
here
you?
watching the farmer girls run around with their little bouncing booties. Yeah.
Are you sure they're girls, or you sure they're not T-boys?
Well, it's kind of cold right now, so they're wearing
Boys in
extra
training.
clothing. I'm not entirely sure. The bulges might not be in the right places anymore.
Can never
I
be
really
sure.
don't know. I don't know.
You should go
Man.
check. Let us
T's in training. Gotcha.
know.
Okay, so maybe because I'm gay, maybe I'm not a man. But I tell you right now, today I had to just I'm just being a dick. So I have a frozen hot water pipe, and it's in a crawl space that goes into another crawl space. And I looked in that crawl space once or twice since I bought this house. It's an old, crappy house, right? But I got it for cheap. And in this secondary crawl space, it's literally spider alley. There's so many spiders in there. It's scary. And I went in there, and there were spiders everywhere. And I had to go in there and put the the coil thing that you tie to the pipes. And man, I had to squish so many spiders in there. One time when I went in there 4 years ago or whatever, when I bought this place, there was a spider in there that was about 5 inches round.
Nice.
Its legs, like it was gigantic. I left them alone because they'll keep the predators down, bugs.
Mhm.
Yeah, I might have to kill them all though. Does that make me a man? I didn't even cry.
Yeah, no. As long as you
yeah.
didn't go like in a high octane voice, just fucking run out of the room screaming like a little girl. Yeah, you're fine.
So I have the beginning of a joke. It's not even like a whole joke. It's just the beginning of a joke. It goes like this. So a black man, a gay man, a T-boy lover, and a cowboy.
That's
I'm
racist, sir.
gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate
What's a
it.
T-boy? What's a T-boy lover? Oh, like trans?
You missed it.
I don't understand.
I told you it's not a joke. It's the beginning of a joke.
I'm not asking about the joke. I'm asking about what's a T-boy? I never heard of that before.
Oh, a T-boy lover? Ask the T-boy lover.
I don't know what that is.
He's telling you to ask Resla.
Not to ask me, you motherfucker. You're a black man.
There's a black man,
That
a gay
eliminates
man,
me.
a T-boy lover, and a cowboy.
Hold on a second here. Rizla's black?
Not as of recently. I think he's been rejected from the community. I think somebody took his black card.
I'm still waiting for that. Put that paperwork in.
Say what again?
I said I'm waiting for them to put that paperwork in. They've been trying to take my black card for a while.
So listen, and you guys, I don't like how sometimes it's biased up here because you guys say, oh well, women and blah blah blah. It's just I know too many people, and it's not a good comparison. So I'll just for instance,
You're right. You're right. We haven't made it inclusive enough. And gays and
no,
blah,
I'm
blah,
saying
blah.
when
You know that office got suspended?
you know very well that most things I'm saying end up being that it's not what I'm saying, right? So calm down. About 3 years ago, there was a little girl.
Go on.
Okay. All right.
Something happened to his sound,
I
maybe
guess I was waiting for. I was like, this little girl
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I'll finish it. 3 years ago, there was a little girl named Resla, or I'm sorry, Reslet. Apologize. She ran from spiders.
3 years ago,
Maybe then,
there was this girl
maybe his
called
connection
Joshua
broke up.
Jane. Joshua Jane that went to Vietnam.
There was this lady. Her name was Resla.
Here's a story.
So how about you there, Joshua? What would you do with the kids?
Pretty much probably put them all in work factories. Usually starting at the age of 3 is fine. I'll start there. 4 maybe, whenever the attitude kicks in.
Cool. More Sony TVs
Oh.
for us.
So he needs two.
Sony TVs, tires. I don't even really oppose them, operating heavy machinery.
First word
They
out of
don't
their
do so
mouth.
bad with like
First word out of their mouth
they
is
don't do
Sony.
yeah they don't even do so bad with sewing machines. Y'all
Say Sony.
laugh, but the vast majority of your clothes, like 83%, just go look at the tag on your clothes. Made in Vietnam, baby.
I don't know about Vietnam, but
83% of all
I
textiles
see
consumed in the
China.
United States originate.
China.
No,
I see
no.
Istanbul. I don't see Vietnam.
Yeah, I see
83
Istanbul a lot.
83.3% of all textiles consumed in the United States originate from Vietnam.
We'll see about that.
I actually want to say that it's the kids, but that's not true. It's technically like seniors, basically people just chugging away through their Social
Well, I
Security
believe
era.
it. I believe it's the seniors.
They have a nifty little setup. You don't see like large sweat factories or anything like that, right? They basically from one location they'll have like machines. They'll chop up the fabrics, right, and then they just basically put them on the back of a taxi and deliver them out to this like network of old ladies working in their homes with a sewing machine, just slaving away at like 8, 9, 10, 11 hours a day.
Well, just because the old ladies can't walk nowhere. I see them in the fucking park doing their old little tai chi. Them motherfuckers ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I was actually thoroughly impressed by the logistics because it just eliminates it. But running
Like,
around here, like I should, I'll record
listen,
some video.
say
I'll
what you
show you
want.
like where.
Say what you want. The little old heifers is still more active than a lot of the old Italians and
Oh
shit
yeah,
that I see around here. They still doing
yes,
stretches. They still doing a little tai chi in the park. They do little swing dances. I was like, what? These little old bitches are still moving.
yeah. My wife's grandma. Okay, so like I'm at the in-laws this week for Tet holiday. My wife's grandmother runs the store and cooks and cleans at the same time. All I can do around here is like clean and help restock shelves, like pick stuff up, right? Mostly, but I don't speak enough Vietnamese to be able to run the store, so I can't negotiate
I,
because
I'm
there's
sure
not
you.
prices
I'm
on
sure
anything.
you understand what she's saying when she keeps sucking her teeth every time you walk by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby. Keeping the family.
Every time you walk
What?
by.
Hey, service is service.
I got serviced a few minutes ago.
And this is why I
Do
came
do
down.
do blow up dolls count now?
Yes.
Oh,
They
okay.
do.
Okay, I
They
guess
do. They do. And now they. In fact, Josh, I think they upgraded. They're no longer blow up dolls. I think they're buying actual dolls. They're buying
Would
dolls
you
and whatever else is coming out.
would you buy a real doll robot from Tesla that was a sex robot that was like $5,000, and you just had removable like toys.
$5,000?
Yeah.
That means
10,
listen,
10,
I'm
10.
I'm
Look
not
like a
gonna be
real
honest.
woman.
Well, I'm saying I'm not even gonna be honest with you. If it's just $5,000, I'm not expecting that bitch to be able to do much. I'm not even expecting no upgrades. I'm not like I'm just being honest with you. Like I need like I'm gonna need a bitch that like she can sit shotgun with me. If I get a flat tire, she can at least like if I don't have the jack, she can lift the car up.
Oh, they can change tires for sure. For $10,000.
No, sir. I'm a man. As a man. As a man.
If she's a robot, would you buy one?
As a man,
As
I'm
a
going to change
robot.
the tire. I just need the bitch to be the jack. As a man.
She'll also jack. She can do that.
In fact, the command is when I need her to lift the car, I need you to jill this. That's how much as a man I need to make sure I stay a man.
You could just simply buy it and make it an investment and just like rent it out.
Yeah, but who wants to have their robot? Who wants to have their robot used by so many others?
Well,
I'm not using it after. I'm not using it after.
You don't kiss and tell, remember?
Yeah. Do you think I'm going to be like, yeah, after I've loaned my robot out to 10th man, it's you, Brick. I'm gonna take it back. I'm just gonna be okay with it.
Oh no, because Brick ain't renting. No.
Nah, I don't. First of all, I just don't want to know what nasty habits she got.
you just take it, right?
Yeah. Yes, master. Let's do this thing. Whoa, fuck you learn that from? I learned it from Brick. Wait, what?
Actually, that's not a bad investment, by the way. If they're $5,000 a piece, we'll say buy 20 of them. Not be $100,000.
Let's just say if there was a robot, there's no way that robot will be loaned out like fucking Blockbuster.
No. You open up a brothel, and the beauty of it is like so once they've been used, you just wash them down.
I'm not sure the brothel will be that useful because let's just be honest, the people who claim to be incels or whatever else, they're gonna spend the money. There's gonna be so many on the market, they're gonna spend the money.
No, because you're not.
They're not spending it on women, so they're gonna spend on the dolls.
No, you're not charging a massive amount of money. They don't even realize. Well, see, that's the thing is they don't realize that
not a lot of money. So how much money?
Well, like if it's they're just coming in for top. It's the average, $20 or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what it costs.
For what? For what? Not for no toppy. Not for no sloppy toppy.
For $20, I don't know what. $20?
No, sir. I am not going to be sticking a
I don't really know the prices.
A water hose in some doll's mouth to rinse out some nasty excrement. $20. That's not good. That is not happening. Out of here.
Not you. It's not you.
I gotta pay somebody. That's really gonna call me. I gotta pay for the backlog. The fuck? It still gotta be worth more money.
I'm talking about opening a business, man.
So I gotta pay that person too. That person's not gonna do for $20. The fuck?
You sit at the front desk, and then they just go in the room, and there's the sex robot.
Are you kidding me? I can't even sit there all day with literally the words "thank you" come again.
They come out of the. That's right. They come out of the room after they're done, and they say "thank you," and then they walk out, and you watch them go back and forth all day long, and you just
thank you. Money. Come again. I will. Like, oh my god.
Well, it's $1 million idea.
They almost already kind of have that in China. They have like masturbation machines specifically for that.
Machines.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Look it up. Look it up right now.
Wow. No, I don't want to look it up now.
I have a banana washer here, as a matter of fact. It's a little
washer.
too.
He caught.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Not a washer.
I have no doubt that you do.
He's a banana washer.
It's a little too small. I could use a bigger one.
That's what she said.
If that's a
Ain't no
banana
good when you
washer,
bottom
know how
out,
much a
right?
banana dryer is.
But she's a whore.
Yeah, the banana washer is a whore.
God. What the hell? Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I got the idea. Because yeah, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say there definitely ain't no affordable. What is it? Affordable birth rate conversation.
Listen, and that's the sad part about it. Like people gonna pay, but they're gonna pay premium for the new Tesla models that come out. Cause we only up to number 2. 3 is coming out this year, later this year. And
Tesla
3
model.
Yeah, the 3 Tesla model they plan on putting out this year.
Well, here's an idea. Just came across my head. So there's already the car, there's already the machine. You just blend the two together, self-driving, self-lubricated.
Well, first of all, have you seen that machine? What it does? That shit does it does everything except take care of your kids. It cooks. It deals with hot. Yes, it cooks. It knows recipes. It cooks
What are we talking about?
The Tesla Atmos. The
Oh,
robot.
okay.
Oh my! It cuts the food. It follows recipes. It cooks.
I want one.
It has no problem dealing with hot flames. And they're talking about as early as possibly near the end of this year, it'll be only worth 10 grand a robot.
Yeah, I want one for sure. I'll take care of that robot like it's my child.
10 grand a robot. And here's the thing: it may not be able to run, but it walks pretty decent. Like they said, literally, like they said, like by 2035, but literally they're trying to roll them out as early as end of this year just to replace 60% of their workforce. 60.
You know they're doing that so they can send them to Mars, right?
I don't give a fuck if they go to Mars. They send the robots to Mars. Don't send them here. As long as we're talking about sending people to Mars, send the robots to Mars. Do a whole fucking total recall. Build a whole fucking society over there
with robots.
With robots.
So here's a question.
Give me a bitch with 3 titties.
Would you want, if it's your prodigy, for your prodigy to be taken care of by the robot?
No, I definitely see myself being on the rebellion side of that. There would definitely be ground zero for the Matrix on that one.
Yeah, I definitely would not want that either. Yeah.
That's how it started. Kids being trained, and later on, kids just being put in pods, being used for batteries. That's how the Matrix gets started. Let's be honest. We got Tesla. We got Mark Zuckerberg with the fucking metaverse. Mm-hmm. We leaning there. We leaning towards the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, AI is already a thing. Been a thing.
We're leaning there.
Yeah.
It's getting better and better with the virtual. Like we're getting better.
Yeah. Yeah,
people people sitting there, they don't even have to get a real girlfriend. Between what's going on with AI, between what's going on with freaking OnlyFans, what's going on with the Tesla, what's going on with Metaverse, like come on now, it's still like just take the technology from iRobot and we about to listen. We going too far already.
Yeah.
I don't want to, if I make it to be somewhere late. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can't believe I'm pushing towards 50. But anyway, if I even make it somewhere far enough to see what the hell the world look like later on, I'm surprised we don't even already on the market have hover vehicles. Like on the market, regular flying cars. And keep in mind, with this whole thing, now that we got Elon in place, you know that Hyperloop is probably gonna go live now. He been trying to do the Hyperloop for how long? Underground railroad, Hyperloop. Here to Tokyo. Less than 13 minutes. It's probably gonna happen. Y'all laugh, but got 4 years. Keep in mind, the motherfucker got a whole committee and he got a whole staff in the White House, but he don't have an office himself. Elon Musk don't have an office in the White House, but has a whole staff working on the White House. What does that say, people?
That they don't give a fuck about us?
When did they ever?
Just saying.
Just saying.
They're trying to automate everything there so that they don't have to do a damn thing. And then when you go to try to hold your government accountable, you're not even going to find them.
We're already far behind that because they already been using AI for lower level jurisdictions for tickets and shit like that. They're using AI now.
Bro,
AI is the one that start taking care of your tickets and shit like that. This is how much you. This is what we read on the court case that you did. This is how much you owe.
Yeah.
Fuck you appealing an AI.
Yep.
They're trying to do AI lawyers. Lawyers. What will be appointed to you? No.
I just watched a dystopian television show where an episode was about that. And it became a hellscape. And then
Kramos, I'm Kramos, I need to ask you, what the fuck is up with this weird dancing shit? This is like the second time you've had this weird fucking I don't smoke, so I don't get high enough to be like so I can see all this shit. Like I don't get buzzed enough. Because I don't
upside
smoke.
down, translucent.
Yeah, he upside down. Or like I don't be getting this. What are we doing here? I don't take psychedelics.
It bothers you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I'm just saying it's weird. What is?
Oh no, is it Dexter again?
What?
Who is the Chile guy?
Yeah,
it's the Chilean guy.
I am the Chilean guy.
He's a Chilean guy.
And you are the 10.
It's like the second time I've seen it, I'm like, what is happening here? I'm like, I am way too sober for this. I need to be like
this is from
smoking gas or something.
Yeah, we don't see dances like that here in the U.S. I mean, we see
all
dances.
I can say is this. Like all I can say is this: is our gift has returned. What are your thoughts, Krampus?
Krampus? Wow, Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Not Krampus. Hey. Let me ask you something. Are you the 10 man, like the 10 man of the Planet Z movie?
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay. I understand now.
Wow. We're right back to where we started. He'll hit his stride by the 5-hour mark. Don't worry, people. It's going to get good.
Oh no! I don't even expect it. All I've been doing is nothing but losing subscribers today. Because this is already going to be a rough topic. I already knew it. I've been off a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I
gotta learn to take it.
I already knew the subscribers are going to go low today. I already knew the viewers are going to go low today because I have been off the last couple of days. I don't have anything salacious. There's no one up here arguing with one another.
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid.
And no one up in here telling about I will fuck your mom next Tuesday.
No, it looks like you got a couple more back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you do kill it with the topics, so.
No, I kill it with the topics. It's just not a topic that everybody's willing to think on. Most people want to be told what to think, not to think on their own, and that's the premise of my show: is to tell you need to think for yourself. What? You mean
Well,
I don't to be up here and just hear people yelling at each other and then calling each other bastards and calling each other ain't shit and telling you only got one nut and that I fucked your mom last Tuesday and that you're a sissy boy and whatever. Like, no, that's not really what I promote here. Sorry. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna unsubscribe. And then you know what I say? You do you. It's okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
forgive you.
exactly.
I
Why did
forgive
you
you.
pick this topic?
I picked this topic because literally growing across the globe, we have a birth decline. We're not putting up enough kids in the world, sir. And unfortunately, I know as the only black person on the panel, guess what? I have not been a pookie. I have not been out there just throwing my wild oats to any busted Brenda that's willing to opar her legs for me. I'm not that type of guy. I'm just not that type of guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint any other races that think that black people just do this all the time. I'm sorry
I'm
You
to
don't have
disappoint
disappointed,
you.
but for different reasons.
Brenda
I'm
had a
sorry.
baby.
I'm sorry. Listen, tenth man. I am sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint you that I'm not a booty bandit. I'm sorry. Just
do
not
you,
what I do.
Resla, do you have kids?
I'm
I
gonna
have.
unsubscribe.
I am in my 40s and I have. No, I'm in my 40s, sir, and I have no kids. Well, I would love kids. I've been wanting kids since I was 19.
40, 40, what? 40,
I,
41?
I am 42, and I've been wanting kids since I was 19.
Oh,
42.
I'm gonna be 42 on Monday.
I'll be 43 in March.
You know that's
What
the
about
answer.
what about the 10 men? Do you have kids?
Not that I can prove.
Okay. What about Brick?
Again, would love to have kids. I have met not many prospects. I have met a couple of prospects, not many. Um, just hasn't happened, and I've never been in a as I put forth in this episode. I've never really been in a good financial predicament, financial position to take care of kids because kids only become more expensive as one gets older. They don't get cheaper. And since I don't live on a farm and I don't take care of animals and shit like that, there's no way in hell I can think that I can take care of children without a loan. I mean, like a hefty business loan. Just
I
a
don't think I don't think that's necessary.
I think not only would I need a hefty business loan, I'd have to move to a small country where the money exchange rate is just so much lower because there's just no way I can do that here in the U.S. Not in today's day. If I cannot afford to say that whoever I knock up, hopefully my girl, it can say that you need to be able to take off of work so that therefore there can be a parent in the house and it be one income, then there's no such thing. I can't take care of you. There's no way I can make enough money. I, I'd have to be my job would have to be literally robbing the rich, literally robbing the rich.
That
That's
sounds
a good
good.
job to have. Yeah.
I would literally have to be the Black Robin Hood. And here's the next thing: the Black Robin Hood who doesn't rob other black people. It have to either literally go state to of stateside to rob literally rich people who are not black, just so I won't get ratted on, in order to be able to take care of my family. That's the only way. It's the only way to do it. And since I don't even feel like that well about doing it for myself to do that, that means I would literally have to lose whatever integrity and dignity for myself to do so. Now, if y'all are advocating that I should be willing to do all of that simply for offspring, then y'all let me know.
What about you, Brick? You have kids?
So people have asked me some questions like that in the past, and I've always stuck to my guns on things like that. When it comes to my personal life, I prefer not to talk about it. I like the topic, but
Which means he likes the topic. He bunker busts a lot of chicks, but he don't want to say what he got out there.
Okay.
He said he be sowing seeds, but he just don't know what harvest is out there. That's what he's just saying right now.
Do you have children that you stole on Christmas, Krampus?
Please don't tell me Krampus anymore.
Calm down.
I'm calm, but can you stop saying Krampus?
No.
Please.
Dude, the more you
he asked you
fight,
nicely. He asked you nicely though.
Be kind.
I'm not kind. Go ahead. I won't call you
Okay.
Krampus anymore. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I don't have the children. I thought about it. I was I've been near with some girlfriends, but I don't have children of my own.
You know what? Let me ask a question. Why is it that you have not decided to have children? Like you've had girlfriends, obviously, but why have you not had children?
That's a
Obviously, if you've had girlfriends, you've had sex with them. Why did you not bunker bust and just totally had the explosion?
that's a good question. 2 times. My girlfriend got pregnant, and they decided to not having the children.
Mm.
She decided. Well, I was in another city in Chile, and she was in Santiago, and she sent me this message, and I came back to Santiago. I told her, "Hey, I'm gonna be here for you, etc., etc." And she decided not to have the.
So let me understand this. You was in a whole other area code. You know what she could have did? Not said shit to you and just got rid of the kid. You would have never even known there was a possibility, right?
Yeah.
But she decided to tell you anyway to let you know that nigga, you managed to get deep up in the bread basket. But you know what? You not about to get this kid. That's what she did. That's what she did. And I think that is fucked up. I want to tell you, I think it's fucked up. She could have kept that shit to herself. She could have
Yeah.
took that shit to her grave. But that's not what she did. She want to let you know personally, hey, I'm gonna hit you up. Bring, bring, Kramos. I am getting rid of this. And that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I think
After
the same
you
way.
turn around and you spend hours, if not minutes, roaring up in her to get that little thing up in the bread basket, and then you go after she done turn around and found out that her oven started ticking. She called you up to turn around and say, I'm not gonna have that little bun bake. That's fucked up. Especially because you far away. You far away. Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Just let you know that. I do
Yeah.
not approve of it. I do not approve of that.
Yeah, it was very sad for me, but I still believe that I'm gonna be a awesome, excellent father if the life bring me these children to this world. Now,
Wait,
how it
you
is.
said this world. Are you waiting for Elon's world in the future?
Hey, bro.
I mean,
you
if you want to wait for the total recall chick with the 3 titties, you can wait. But I mean, that's a time from now.
No. I see the
Don't get me
world
wrong.
as
I like 2 titties, but 3 titties, shit. I don't
I
know if I
like
can turn down 3 titties.
I like 6 titties.
Jesus.
You got 3 per.
I'll be like the guy. I wish I had 3 hands. Like you have 6 titties. Jeez. Oh man.
Bro, it's easier. It's 6 titties and 4 legs. That's it.
Don't get me wrong. Unless you're trying to get the Octomom, even with the Octomom, 16, at least you got only 2 kids that's not fed. Damn.
It's a mutated Siamese twin.
Listen, 6 titties to feed octokids, octuplets.
No, to feed just myself.
Oh shit! My man always got milk in the house. Always.
Oh goodness.
My man say I'm frothing milk all the time for my coffee. What you want?
Oh wow. I don't know.
Could you imagine how the mood that she's gonna be in? Because she's gotta have like 6 breast pumps. 6? Look, he's smacking his lips already. He can't wait.
You got me. You got me. I was picturing it.
That's utterly amazing.
Amazing.
Resla, let me ask you, why you don't have children, being 40?
I don't have children because, unlike a lot of people who are willing to sleep with the first thing that they can in order to have children, I have discernment. And because I have seen too many, quote, baby mothers who have been tyrants and have been terrorists, they're literally what we call baby mama terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
I have decided that I do not want that for myself.
Preach it, Resla.
I will sleep with crazy, but I will not procreate with crazy. I would rather be in a hostage negotiation area. I would rather deal with a person who's just strict crazy than deal with a person who's a terrorist. I would because at least with a crazy person, I can get a petition. I can get people in the courts. I might even be convince her parents to say, yeah, our daughter's a little bit crazy. We gonna side with him. He is the best person for this kid. But a baby mama terrorist, oh no, they convince everybody, your friends, they friends, your family, they family, that you are unfit. I will not deal with a baby mama terrorist. A crazy person, let's just be honest. It doesn't take a lot to convince a crazy person that they're just unfit. Oh, you know what? They put the diaper on the kid's head. You know, the kid ain't got no teeth yet, but they give him a whole chicken leg to try to eat. Like shit like that. It's very easy. But a baby mama terrorist, they're conniving. That is literally the Al Qaeda of procreation. That's the ISIS of procreation. You don't want to deal with them. You don't. Because it's either you want to do well. It's like how about this? I'll just pay you the money and you just give me my son or my daughter and I'll just take it. And you know what, they just turn around and say, Allah Akbar, and fuck your whole shit up. Your whole shit up. That's the reason why, Kremos.
Okay. What about you, 10 Man?
I was hoping you would ask. So, I'm almost 50. Be probably less than 36 months or something at this point. And I was raised mostly by women, and so I was indoctrinated to believe that unaliving the A word children when they're make them not born, when that was
the abolishment,
something that was okay because the woman knew best and it was their choice. And so I literally believed that for well, geez, 41 years or something.
No way.
Right. And so I was like 1,000%. Like, I mean, there's some in my head sometimes like questions, but it was one of those things like the burner's hot. I just didn't think about, didn't really affect me. So I never even really thought about it or got involved in it. And then I saw a video of a young gentleman outside of a clinic screaming and crying, please don't do this. And then she did it. And then my mind changed. And dude, some dudes are bad. Like, dudes are bad, right? I get it. Sometimes some dudes are bad. Jeffrey Dahmer's a bad man. But I don't think that most men, if it was their responsibility and they could just go, okay, I have this baby now, that they would decide not to have it. But it seems like, I think it's about 50 million babies since 1974 or something like that. I've done a couple shows about it, right? It's like 50 something million since the early 70s. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I don't know, man. I specifically stayed away from not having kids because of that whole dynamic that Rizzle's talking about. No way. Not getting involved in that.
Never heard of a baby
Nope.
father terrorist. Never heard of a father who has been in complete and utter control. Just never heard of it. Never heard of it. Do you understand that of the fathers in the world that actually do have 100% child support? Like, actually, they're in the blue when it comes to that. It's only it's less than seven. It's less, just less than 7% of fathers. 7%, because of how much mandatory it goes to the mother. It's just less than 7% of fathers. And here's the sad part about it: that less than 7% of fathers, they're killing it. They're shown to be better mothers than the actual mothers that are sitting in the 90 percentile.
I agree with that one.
No, I mean, it's literally out there. The numbers is out there, but yet somehow and still, court systems say it should go to the mother because you know what? Maternal reasons, they are the best for best? Best? Okay. All right. We still doing this? All right. Keep in mind, it is easier for a single woman to turn around and get an adoption for a kid, but for a single guy to be able to do that. Keep in mind, back in the days, single men, especially those men who were millionaires or playboy, philanthropists, whatever, were able to get kids. Not for some sexual shit. They were called wards. I don't have any kids of my own. I wish to adopt the kid, so therefore I can train them and they can be able to be the beneficiaries of my wealth. You can't have that now, because now all men, doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, trans, all men are dubbed creepy and non-trusting. All men are the enemy. If you were born with testes and a cock, you are the enemy in the world. At least the world of the feminists.
Which are men.
Which are men. And I'm just going to be honest with you. We're not really their enemies. Mother Nature's their enemies. It's penis envy.
Yes. Bro, you're so on point right now. I'm telling you. Hey, that is a fact. And it ain't my fault.
It's not my fault. Take that shit up with Mother Nature. That has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
I don't have one decision in that. It's all penis envy. All penis envy. I've fought with managers, colleagues, HRs, and I'm just like, why are you mad at me?
Yeah, what you mad at me for?
I'm not, why are you mad at me? I didn't do shit.
Co-workers.
What fuck? Like, I didn't do shit.
Bro, you're so on point right now. I can't even. Oh
What the
my
fuck is happening here? You don't
god.
understand. No, bitch, you don't understand. You don't understand what it's like to have this kind of pressure on you. All you can do is come up. You're the underdog.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck are we
Do
talking
you,
about here?
Resla, do you approve abortion?
I don't have a problem with abortion. I have a problem with it being used as being used as a form of contraception.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Do I believe that there's some women that just need to have abortion? You know what? I slept with the wrong guy. Cool. You know what? Grape, incest, I get it. Cool, no problem. You know what? There was that one guy, us guys, we pull a mulligan. That means I shouldn't have slept with that bitch. She was ugly. I was drunk. I'm going to go to my boy 10th man. I'm going to tell him about it. He says, we going to put this in the boundary box. We never going to tell about this again. That's a mulligan. We good.
And I tell him it was a dude.
So you ain't even got to worry about it.
That mulligan.
You was hanging out. You was hanging out with Joshua, huh?
Out the way, mulligan out the way. But that's not what happens these days. So for me, nah, fuck them. I'm not trying to worry about anything else is going on. Like, you can't turn around and then turn around and say, I just want to all of these abortions, all of these abolishments I'm having is mistakes. No, I think you need to. I think like the number of lives that you get in the video game is the same thing you should get for those, which means after the and I don't even play free. I don't even play fair in baseball, so it's not 1, 2, 3 stretch your route. It's not that. It's 1, 2, and that's it. Your third one you keep. You keep, and I'll even throw the ball in the ball because you need 4 balls before you walk. That walk means you get totally snipped. But that's just me. It sounds like I'm extreme. You can either get the 2, and that third one it's a strike, or you can get 4 balls, and then you get your tube side.
So let me ask you: if you have a girlfriend and she cheated on you, and then she tells you that she's pregnant, you will
She's
tell
not my
her
girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend.
But I'm putting the hypothetical.
All right, I got you. I already answered your hypothetical. Nope, little nigga ain't mine. Must think a
Have you seen the most recent video that I saw? I think it's new because I watch a lot of videos and I never saw this one, where the gentleman gave the nice young lady a Christmas present, which was divorce papers and a DNA test of their son.
Kramer. I had been with my woman we're about to cross into our 8th year, right? She knows to this day, even if she turns around and comes to me and says she's pregnant, the first thing she knows I'm going to be getting for prior to probably even, to be honest with you, prior to her even putting the motherfucker out to breathe his first air, I'm already gonna want a DNA test. I'm not playing. She already knows this ahead of time. It's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. She's been exposed to me and so many conversations I've had online, whatever, that she understands that when I say I want to have a DNA test, she knows it is not even up for debate.
And if she tells you that she's pregnant and she did a test of DNA and it is your son, and she tells you that excuse me,
test.
And if you see the test, all good with the test, and she tells you she wants to abort, are you agree?
She can abort, but she cannot expect to have she can abort. It's her body, but she can also expect not to have a relationship with me.
Wait, how can you abort and you got the DNA test?
No. As in she got, which is weird. Yeah, I know. I guess depending on what liberal city you're in,
Like
she still have the
abortion. That's not an
let's
abortion.
just say Yeah, but let's just say she decides she wants to abort anyway. Because no, because you can still get a DNA test while the baby's still in the womb, so you can still do that. But
Yes, yes.
Okay.
so if she goes about that and she still wants to keep in mind how far she would have to be to still do an abortion, by the way. But anyway, let's just say she does it, whatever. There's no way on God's grief earth that she's staying with me. There's no way. Literally, it's not even a matter of me moving out. All her shit is out.
If you want to keep that child, can
No
you?
problem.
Do you have
Absolutely.
tools to? Do you have tools to accomplish that she don't abort that child?
What what tools? Once if the kid is born, I can take care of the kid.
Yeah,
No, but before that, if she
yeah,
wants to abort and you don't want to abort, it is your child. You
There's
can.
nothing. There's nothing I can do
yeah. There's
about that.
nothing the man can do
There's
about
nothing
that
I
in
can do
America.
about that.
Okay, I understand. Do you think that is
Should there be
necessary?
tools? Yes. Should there be tools? Yes.
Yeah.
But there's
Okay.
not. But there's not.
Okay. That was my question.
Yeah. Should there be? Absolutely, there should be. Especially if we're talking about past the, I don't know, 5, 6 month. There absolutely should be. But if we're talking, but I can't also force that upon any woman, especially if we want to claim it under, and I'm doing air quotes, life of the mother. If her life is in jeopardy, there's not much I can do about it. And if any claim that under any hospital will be like, well, her life will be in jeopardy, there's nothing I can do about that.
Okay. Yeah, I
The
understand.
same way how hospitals will lie about you getting drug prescriptions, the same way how hospitals can lie about you saying that your life is in jeopardy for having a child that you don't want.
Let me tell you this that happened to me after the story I told you about this girlfriend. I I had this feeling, and there was a program here in Chile, not to adopt a child, but to adopt minor brother, you
Okay.
see, like a little brother. And I singing, I became aware of this program. I studied it, and I decided to put money and have a little brother because I don't have little brothers. And this little brother called Ricardo, uh, Richard, um, he was a son of a woman who was raped, and she decided to have the child after being raped. And she put she was in this house of some Swiss nuns, and the nuns helped her to have a safe pregnancy. And this little brother was her son, and he was in this program, and I paid money. I lived with this little brother, not in my house. I was participating. I was part of his life, and we did many things. And after 1 year, 1 year and a half, this little brother, angel of mine, was into a process of international adoption from an Australian couple, and that's why I needed to release him, because the process of international adoption, these nuns put the couple into a 1 year and 2 years program to adapt first with Richard after finally adopt him. You know, for me, it was a thing that I will never forget. I am not agree with abortion. I understand the the risks of illegal abortion because there are many evil people there. But I think there are many tools not to kill life, and many programs that brings something transcendental to another people's lives.
It's an evil, evil world that we live in.
I agree.
That's why I'm an asshole, because I have very little. My hot water pipe is frozen. I've been trying to fix it for a day and a half. It's cold. You know, I all the nonsense that I watch. Nobody really cares about anybody's real problems. They care about nonsense, and it just makes me very disinterested. You know, that's where I've gotten in my many years of the YouTube streets, is just over it. I was going to do a show about somebody to troll them today. Had to deal with the police instead. That got postponed. You know, never stops.
Maybe it's for the
Nonsense.
better. It was stopped maybe for the better.
Maybe.
Or maybe.
That means you're gay.
It probably does mean that I'm gay. Yeah.
Well, so you said you're dealing with the police. Did you film it?
I was on the phone.
Oh, well, you could still record it.
Oh, who do you think you're talking to?
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
I record everything.
Resla,
Yes.
do you have an opinion of the story I just told you?
Not so much of the opinion. I'm actually I was actually just looking at it for a couple of things because oh shit. Yeah, because that's what happened. I'm actually hitting in my 10-minute mark before I need to start closing up the show. That's what's crazy about it. I don't have too much opinion about it. I know a lot of people have their own different aspects of things that's going on in their lives. To me, I don't know. The world is as crazy as it is. We all got something going on. I don't have a particular. I don't have a particular.
No, I'm saying this is an important conversation. I'm talking about. I'm not saying I'm disinterested in this. I'm saying,
yeah.
In general, that's why a lot of people probably aren't coming up here, because this is we're having a really deep conversation.
A lot of
most people don't.
They don't want.
Most people don't want this.
Yeah, they don't. They want to be told what to think and how to think, and they want to just relax. They don't want to be told to think and to really put a lot of thought into what's going on. They want to escape, and I don't really offer everybody a place.
Yes.
I get it, folks. Which is why
you've offered me an escape. I forgot about my hot water pipe for a few minutes.
A few minutes.
Yeah. So, I still hold the view that people should have the chance to have kids, have children. However, that doesn't mean everybody should.
Who do you think should not have kids?
Well, some people do forfeit their ought by certain actions. I mean,
who?
we could go down the list of the worst of the worst.
Because I'm seeing nasty little crack fiends that's still giving up kids.
Yeah, I mean, like doing drugs isn't necessarily a disqualifier either. Again, as I mentioned before about like not having money and that sort of thing. But yeah, just like degenerate, and I do mean like sexually degenerate people. Maybe they kind of forfeit that at some point. that right, right? I mean, that's actually why we have prisons anyway. That opportunity goes away as soon as you get put into a box, unless there's some little freaky lady guard who comes through. And then that type of thing, yeah, obviously. So but also there are people who just simply don't want to, and if they don't want to, I'm not going to say that they should.
I'm okay, because there are definitely people who do well in life, who could definitely afford children. So
Right.
I agree with you in saying like that they don't want to. That's cool. My thing is like, as a guy who likes to like study the Constitution and everything, do you think that there are just some people like constitutionally that just should not be able to opt into having kids?
Well, so they should be able to.
So do you think that there should be a threshold that needs to be met in order to first qualify to have kids?
Like
Yes.
who?
Yes. First and foremost, age of consent, right? So 18. Like that's like a dead giveaway for me. Some cultures, some country might put that at a different age bracket. 18 is very liberal, but it's not the most liberal age of.
Okay.
So that's definitely a bracket.
What about
far as-
an income bracket?
No, I would never put a finance back. Not in the United States for sure. We have too many
So,
social
so you
programs.
believe that people who are the poorest of the poor, who obviously are in a position where they need other people to take care of them, not to mention that their offspring as well, they should be able to just willy-nilly have as many kids as possible?
Should be able to have as many as possible.
Well, just be honest. You get some people that's coming in the low branch of this world that we're in, this country that we're in, and they turn around and they want to pop out fucking a dozen kids.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the.
I literally saw an episode. I literally saw the episode on the show today that turned around and whoop and I'll just say the bitch had 18 kids. 18. How the fuck
Could she afford them?
Survived.
Could she afford them though?
Of course not.
Well, I mean, were they fed or were they clothed? Were they sheltered?
Who do you think they were clothed and sheltered by?
I mean, it could have been her or
You and I, sir.
The men or the father.
You and I, sir. Even the men that she slept with, you and I, sir. We contributed to that.
That's not going to necessarily be true in every case, right? So, I mean, consider back in like the 1800s, right? The men would have farms and children, and then they would take care of those children, and they would teach their children to be farmers, and
a dozen.
Some of them would go off to be lawyers and doctors.
I agree, but a dozen. I don't recall them having football teams.
Yeah, there are some families that would have, dozen, maybe more children back in the 1800s. Actually, I mean, throughout history, that's kind of a thing that's happened, and if you've got a lot of wealth, then I mean, and you're having a bunch of children and you're able to take care of them.
And the difference between the 1800s and now is also that you had so much difference when it comes to economy, and also that the population was not nearly as dense as it is now.
Yeah, but the population being so big, that's a social issue that's being pressured onto that family. That's not that family's issue. That's something that
wait. We're not talking about people who just only live on farms. We're talking about people who live in cities trying to pop out.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying about the 18 children. I don't know the circumstances. Okay. Yeah.
And the sad part about it is like it's not. The sad part about it is like it's not even Americans. It's the foreigners that come in and do it. This African woman came in and had 16 children. 16 right. For one husband, by the way, who worked a 16 hours, 4 days a week or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, he didn't do it. He didn't do it all weeks. Let's just be honest.
Well, so again, the finances, I'm not going to say that that's a disqualifier, because what happens, as I mentioned before, is when people have a child, their whole life changes, right? Now, having more children and they're not taking care of that one, that can be a disqualifier, right? So they can end up, putting themselves in a situation where it's actually criminal.
So let me ask you
And
the
then they
question,
end up in
Greg.
a box.
How in this country, given
Mhm.
the social safety net being there's only one person that's working, let's be honest, most like if you got that many kids,
Mhm.
there's no way that one of those parents there's no way that both those parents are working full time with that many kids. Someone needs to be home.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
So with that being said, what we don't see that as a form of negligence.
No, because every
We
person,
don't see that as being irresponsible. We don't see that as being a problem.
every person is different, right? And every situation is different, right? And
Mm,
so when I look at what another person has, and I begin to interject what I feel is right or wrong in there, short of some uh, basic realities that are right and wrong, the objective realities, right? So, don't hurt people, that sort of stuff. So, short of those things, I'm not, and then of course the law itself, there's the legal aspect of it. Short of those things, I'm not gonna like impose my will, right?
you
If
know,
it's lawful,
I didn't even think about this.
yep.
I didn't think about this. Is it okay in the 21st century, in this era right now? Is it okay for us to be having a clan dynamic? Is it okay for us to be building clans? Let's be
Uh,
honest. If you have that kind of numbers up there, you're trying to build a fucking clan.
oh, you mean just by blood?
Yes. Is it okay for us to be accepting clans?
Um, yes and no. That one's a yes and no. Yes, if
What
you,
kind of clan? Sorry, what kind of clan?
If I say that we have a Mongol clan, the majority of those people are related.
Okay.
by relation,
If I say I want an Iroquois clan, the majority of them are related. If I want to say I have a Cherokee clan, guess what? They're all Cherokees. They're related.
yeah. As long as one, it's not incest, and
It's not
number
incest. Yeah, you're right.
right, and then number two, as long as that's not being imposed upon other people's choices to not have a clan or to have their own clan, right?
Do you know about I don't
Oh,
know how to say in English, endogamia and endogamy and endogamia?
I don't know what that means. Anyone else?
It's like when they uh when they preserve the chastity, the caste, the genes, so that, for example, the Indian people, they married their cousins, and it's like the lions, for example, the felinos, the feline, the lions, when they arrive another female, they kill all the puppies, all the babies of the
Oh, the cub.
female, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's because they don't want them to fuck the mother and have another gene of heritage.
We call that eugenics.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
In Spanish, is endogamia. To prevent
exactly.
endogamia, they kill the babies because they need to reset and start from zero.
Yeah, not really down with that.
It's weird. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah,
when
it's
when humans do it. Yeah.
yeah, as Resla pointed out, that's the type of penis envy that exists in the world. It's that there's certain people out there who want to control population, and I'm not for population control in any fashion. What I am against is degeneracy, right? And so that's where like the laws come in, and our legal system, most of it is based upon right and wrong. Some people call it morality. I just simply call it right and wrong. And we decide collectively what is degenerate and what is not. So I'm for a legal system, but that's not in my mind. Eugenics should never play a part in that.
Oh, well, that's what they sure are trying.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
They're trying to make it the thing.
Mm-hmm. DEI.
I think that's the most scary part when I hear this guy of the states saying that with AI they can identify a single cell of cancer in your body,
You mean the
and
cancer that they created?
Right.
yeah, yeah, and they can eradicate it and eliminate it, and they can even more build a vaccine only for you and your children and your children's children and your children's children's children,
Yeah, that's
and
scary.
that's
Yeah.
the
Sounds like a
genetic.
setup to me.
Wow. Hey, in this documentary, the Big Reset, the in the credits, in the final credits, it's a piece of interview with this poor bald man, president of the World Economic Forum, saying, "quote." This fourth industry revolutionary industry is not about what you do, it's about who you are if you take a genetic edition. So well, if I can, if I participate in a genetic edition, build a son for me without a woman, that is very good for me. Protect your blood, bro.
This is why we say protect your seed, people. Protect your seed.
Prodigy. Yep. Prodigy. I like it. Yeah, I'm for the kids. I'm for having kids. I'm for uh, continuation of life, promoting life, and that sort of thing. And so people who uh, forfeit that through criminal activity, um, yeah, that's too bad for you.
All
I
right.
used to believe in population control and that the world was overpopulated. And then I read a lot of books and learned a lot of things and realized that I was stupid.
Hey, it happens. It happens. Any last thoughts? Any going around the table before we end it up?
Stupid why, bro?
Ooh.
Because I just believed what other people told me.
Okay, this can be a favor. The circumstance, in fact, did you a favor, and you now are aware of it. Because if you don't find that you're stupid, quote unquote, you will be living this present without knowing that. So in fact, it's not that stupid. Am I wrong?
Well, do you not believe in the term when they say ignorance is bliss?
Yes, I was much happier back then.
I I know the feeling.
Yeah, we live and we learn, and that is part of adulting. Can't stay child forever.
Adulting.
I
Yeah,
often wish that I
take it back to
just
5 years old. Yeah, I wish.
no that I didn't learn all the stuff that I've learned.
Yeah, well,
That's
yes
that
and
problem
no.
with that red pill, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Can't put that shit back.
If I
I think
knew
it's
then,
very I think it's very important, and everything that you learned in your
I just
books.
say this is I was thinking about this last night. For 30 something years ago, I watched Faces of Death. That's like
Yeah,
a nursery rhyme from heaven now.
yeah,
Fact.
yeah. That, and then it moved on to Rotten Tomatoes or Rotten.com, Rotten.com, right? And then some other things came out, and it's just gotten so crazy. Um, yeah, and that's the thing about the world.
Gore Gallery, goregallery.com. I watched that when I was 13 years old.
Right. Yeah, and the world, right? So it's crazy because these things have been happening. It's just that we can see it now. The access to seeing it is
Right.
so prevalent, and that's just a matter of guarding yourself at that point, not going to those degenerate sites and things like that, and keeping yourselves around people who don't go down that nastiness, and having good conversations about positive things, what we can do to build up, right? What we can do to promote life, like this conversation right here. For that matter, I
Well,
appreciate it.
I don't know about how far we got into promotion of life. I know it's a conversation that a lot of people don't like to get into because the truth of the matter is a lot of people don't want to think about the very obvious thing, to be honest with you, which is mortality. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. A lot of people really don't. And
I lost one of my closest friends when I came to my revelation about abortion. And they were mad, mad, mad.
sure they were. I'm sure they were.
Did you because you asked me a question in your comment section over there on your last video, speaking of mortality.
Sure.
Did you see my answer about it?
Uh, yes, I did. I did.
Very
I
good.
did. See it. Yeah.
Very good.
There's a lot of things that I think people should really think about because I say this to people all the time. I'm like, this is I know people like, especially if you're a believer, you like to think about your next life, but it's like you should also think about the one that you have now. It's nice that you want to prepare for the next one, but you should also be thinking about making the most of the one that you have right now.
Hey, speaking about promoting life, are you following me? Tell me you don't.
Tell you that I don't. Okay, fine, I don't.
Follow my channel? Really?
Kramos, yes.
Really? 10 men. You're not following me? You don't follow?
I don't think any one of us follow each
Oh,
other at all.
maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should.
Maybe you shouldn't. Shit.
I'm gonna build a bunch of playlists in my channel doing interviews, individual interviews. So that's my project, and I want to monetize that shit. Did you hear me, motherfucker? Did you hear me, Google? Did you hear me? I want to monetize that interviews, so
You
I
you
can.
should definitely do so, and yeah,
I will.
honestly, yeah, you should honestly do
I'm
so,
doing it.
and then I would love to see a notification that come so that you come up more. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do right now.
Hey, look,
I'm gonna
you
look
know,
right now.
you need to deserve to follow my channel. If you don't deserve to follow my channel, you're just a waste of time for me. And I know you don't, because this kind of spaces are very important. Promoting life on or respectfully sharing ideas and opinions. And so
Well,
uh,
well,
I'm gonna
I'm not gonna lie. I saw one of your lives coming out, and you said, yeah, well, not you said, but one of your lives. I think you said the name of it was like Holocremos, and I said, holy shit, what is
yeah,
about to happen here?
the hologram. That's what's happening everywhere, yours, mine, and the projections we can build. I believe in that. So I'm going to take the hosts and the creators of this kind of spaces, and I'm going to interview them, you know, because it's important to people be aware of other kinds of media so
Well,
you
you
can
know what?
learn.
Here's your chance to plug. What exactly is your channel about?
Myself, the work that I do, I'm a videographer since 2009.
Okay, and what is your channel about?
Myself, my work, myself,
Okay, all right.
and this playlist that I'm building to show and share many other channels. I have the advantage that I speak English, and I will subtitle to Spanish for if I have a Spanish reading viewers. And if I want to make money with it, hey, I'm gonna monetize the shit because it's entertaining, not because that I need it. Because money, in fact, it's the wheel. It's like the this wheel that you can play with it. So I'm gonna play with it to play with the monetized stuff.
All right. So
And
Grandma plans on monetizing that wheel, and he plans on playing with that wheel. So just want to
uh,
let you
if
know, folks.
if that if that if that manifests into money in my account, hey, well, it's welcome. My main goal is to share the information about what about Resla. How many years do you have this channel and what it is about?
Not long.
For example, to discover that is an interview. I want my mother is a journalist. I'm a videographer. I have journalism inside my brain and my blood. So I'm gonna make important interviews.
All right. Well, sounds good. For those of you who know, take a look at Kramos. You can look for him at Kramos, exactly like his name is.
Don't follow me. Don't follow.
He said don't. He said don't follow. He says don't follow. If you're interested, you can take a look, but do not follow him. So he already put that up there. But apparently he got some things that he plans on putting forward. So we got it from there. Round around the table before we start ending it out. Start with you, Kremos. Then I'll go to Brick. Then I'll go to you, 10th man.
Hey, thank you. Just thank you, and you can build whatever you want. Build it, and everybody be safe and be aware of that people that says is your friend, but the only thing they do is tell you their problems, and those are not friends. Oh, hello, hey, when they call you just when they need something from you, and when they only celebrate your victories, but in your defeat, in your failure, they are not there. So identify it and rip them out of your life. Thank you, bro.
Okay, Brick.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me up as usual. Always on that pointed topic, man. It's just it's never a poor topic. You're always really good with that, so I really appreciate that. And I know you just got a raid right here as we're closing,
Oh
but
shit! No way. Did
yeah, I
I?
saw that. Yeah, Flo sent his peeps over. So
Oh, that sucks. That was actually gonna go to Flow State. So fucking sucks.
That's funny. He'll be here in 2 minutes.
I was literally gonna rate to Flow State. Oh my goodness, can't stand ya.
yep. So you're gonna have to find someone else to raid, I guess.
Uh, I literally had him marked up to raid. So terrible.
I will say I was looking through OG's live, so I do believe
No,
so. That's an
no,
option.
I can't give that to OG. That was crazy. That's funny.
Yeah,
That is actually pretty funny.
that's the way it goes, though.
Any other particular thoughts before you're out?
Yeah, no. As I said, this topic right here, I'm not opposed to poor people having kids. But once they have those kids, they need to buckle down and get life together. So that's my view of it.
I agree with that. 10th man, what's going on?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry I'm boring tonight. I don't have the fire tonight. I'm dealing with too much stuff. So all I can say is I don't think there's any way out of this. We're not going to all make it out alive.
Wow. Oh, okay.
That's great.
Okay,
Since
that is
then, you don't have the fire because you are the fire.
yeah. Apparently, you took that fire with you. By the way, speaking of taking the fire, I'm still have to figure out to properly translate this from Crabbles and turn around and have the 2005 and the Chilean super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing so. With that being said, guys, I think that's pretty much gonna take it. I'm gonna jump you guys real quick, and I'm gonna talk a little bit to everybody before I start kicking it off for today. Um, we had a whole bunch of different conversations, kind of went off, but it kind of stayed on a little bit of things. I'm going to cover it based on what we were actually talking about today. For you guys who actually mentioned who were here earlier to catch it, we were talking about the affordable birth rate that's going on. We've covered a lot tonight, to be honest with you. We have talked about the insane cost when it comes to the raising of kids. We've talked about the pressure when it comes to perfect parenting, and of course, the fact that few and fewer people are considering having children because, quite frankly, they have financial fears. And if that trend continues, what does it mean for the future? Are we heading towards a world where only the wealthy can afford to, quite frankly, have a legacy, to have their lineage? I don't know about you, but it feels like something has to give at some point. You know, either we accept either we accept the fact that we're going to be having kids, and that's the thing that we now see as a privilege, or we're gonna start rethinking how our society pretty much supports families. Because because if regular everyday people can't afford to raise the next generation, the question only comes down to who will. But I want to hear from you at this point, especially if you're catching us in the back end. Be sure to hit me in the comment section. If you're a parent, do you feel like the cost of raising kids is out of control? If you don't have kids, if you don't, do you want them, or does the financial reality make you think twice about actually having kids? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, just walking in this building, hit the like button if you enjoyed the conversation, and of course, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on the next episode that I'm gonna actually have. And if you want to keep the conversation going, you already know where to find me, right here on the Resla channel. Until then, stay real, keep it a buck with everybody in your circle, stay opinionated, and I will catch you on the next one.